sending out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark.
Good morning, how are you? It is Thursday here on the program, and we've got back-to-back bangers here today. After yesterday, still getting a lot of great comments. Marty and Rags were awesome. So was Brian White and Coach Elmo. Dion Brown. So today, coming up at 8:30, or 8:30. I'll be leaving at 8:30. See you, bye. 6:30.
From the courts to the field, the stories unfold.
David Smith.
Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold.
He'll talk about the Super Bowl. So, what we can do to try to make it something it wasn't, but we'll see if we can get through it. More importantly, what's the league going to do next year to try to make its product better? Talk to David about that. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline joins us. Alex Squarod. Radford baseball gets underway tomorrow. Talk to AG about the season coming up. And Mike Burnham. Huge win last night for Tech against Clemson. We'll talk about that here in a second. And then Dwight Vick. My goodness gracious. Whew. That's a lot. Whole lot here today. Good morning, everybody in chat. TLB, if you're watching, I have sent a request in to the folks here. Let them know what was going on. And they're supposed to get back to me about, I think, some people inadvertently with the mechanism in chat, our McClellan chat room. A couple people that normally are here all the time got banned, and that shouldn't have happened. So we're trying to figure that out. It won't be today, but hopefully by tomorrow, maybe Monday, you'll be okay back in chat. But we're working on it. We're working on it. Or I'm working on it. Hopefully they're working on it. Because God knows the studio is not cheap. So we got a lot happening today. From Worsham Field, yep, Mr. Worsham passed away yesterday, where the Hokies played at the fields in Korea, where Wes served. Yep, no doubt. We salute you, old friend here in Palm Coast. Well done, thy good and faithful servant. Yeah, Wes Worsham passed away, Worsham Field. That's a big loss for the Tech family, man. It is. Never had a chance to meet him. I never heard anything but good things about Mr. Worsham. So, yep. That came across yesterday, I guess late afternoon. Very sad. Very sad. His legacy, though, I tell you, it's intact forever, man. You have that field and what it means named after you like that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Massive win last night for Virginia Tech on the hardwood. Still not 100%. Johnson's still not playing, but they went to Clemson. And, we're going to talk more. So we're going to talk to Andy a little bit about Mr. Worsham today. Matter of fact, yep. But Tech, we said it yesterday, and we'll talk to Mike Burnap here a little later. But it was a must win. I mean, there was no other way to say it. If Tech was going to have any hope of trying to get off the bubble and slide back into tournament consideration, the good news for them is if they do win a couple more of these big matchups, I mean, given where the net ranking has the ACC, they're going to get a lot of consideration. So last night, I think, kept the season alive for an NCAA berth. I don't think it's hyperbole. Bedford had 23 points. Hammond had 19. They were dominant. Avdalas continues to struggle. I mean, it seems like it's an ongoing thing. 3 of 9, 4 more turnovers. He didn't hit a 3. And, man, is he trying to force some shots that just aren't there. He is really struggling, and you can tell he's in his own head, man. He is paid too much money to sit and not start. Let's just say it the way it is. Let's don't try to act like this is some kind of secret. When you invest that much, it reminds me of Kyron Drones on the football field. But Tech was able to rally on the road and beat Clemson. So that's huge. And they're fighting through adversity again, not being 100%. Gerdak off the bench made some nice defensive plays. They didn't get a lot of points off the bench. It was about those 2 starters, Bedford and Hammond. Lawal almost had a double-double. So a lot of things came together yesterday for Tech. So that's huge for Mike Young. Huge. Morris says West was not a Tech grad, but met a Tech grad in Korea fighting in the foxholes and became a lifetime Hokie and benefactor. That's so awesome. He was a prisoner of war, starved near death. Amazing. That is cool. Yeah, the fact that he's not an alum and yet he has the football field named after him, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. By the way, Morris, how'd you shoot? How was your golf game the other day? How'd you do? So, TLB, we're working on you, man. I know you're watching. You were watching yesterday. You got some great comments. We're trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm wondering what happened with – I wonder if that's what's happened with Opal too. And what was his name? Paul Chapman, I think. I hope not. But we're trying to figure some stuff out here in the chat. But, yeah, we're going to talk to Andy about Mr. Worsham here today. So, yeah, if you watched it, I think Tech, for the moment, has saved their season on the hardwood. And we got some glimpses as to why, I'm going to keep saying it. I just think if this team would have been full throttle, not even for the entire year, they could have just gotten healthy by the time conference play got here. Who knows what they might look like. But to go on the road last night, I think they knew their backs were against the wall. And, knowing Mike Young, there's no chance that he didn't remind them, look, guys, we got to have this one. We got to have this one. So there you go. Morris. So you went to the golf course on the wrong day? He got out to the court. He was so eager to get his golf season started. Well, hey, you know what? Hitting balls and going to Cracker Barrel, Boris, that's fine, man. Good for you, brother. Nothing wrong with that. But great times. Thanks for all the comments. I got comments all day yesterday on the Professor Door text line about Marty and Rags. I hope, and I think you do, you can just sit there and just appreciate Steve Ragsdale, the legend that he is. The dude, he could still be coaching. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio. 540-200-8294. Thanks to Jason Green. Snow is melted. We had a big melt. It's awesome. Let's keep that going. And those guys can get out and make your yard and your property private and looking great. McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hunley, 155 Walker's Drive. Sponsor of our chat room, which we're trying to get fixed. Travis Williams, Professional Incorporated, Commercial and Residential Garage Doors, 540-391-0788, right across from New River Community College. They are so busy, not only here, but regionally. Just so good at what they do. Tim Miller will join us tomorrow from Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Lots more news we're going to get to. We'll let Tim break it here tomorrow. Thanks to them for being the presenting sponsor of this program. Thanks to Charles Lee and all his great workers and everybody at Little River Heating and Air, 540-553-2971. They're the best. The attorney Ryan Pry in Radford, 701 West Main Street. Trust and Estate Planning, sponsor of our BDST fan question of the week, and we centered it around whether you believe Tech can still become an NCAA basketball team, and many of you still hold out hope. National Bank member FDIC, thanks to Larry Ramsey. They are the exclusive banking partner of this program, and they're my exclusive banking partner for 35 years. Best customer assistance I think you can have. You don't have to stress out about your financial situation because they always keep it calm and they're always willing to help. Ready, Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com. Bob Christ, BOBCRIST11 at Gmail. If you want to raise some money quickly for your team, your organization, check out ReadySetFund.com and just email Bob, and he'll explain to you how. You want BDST shirts? They're $20 here locally. Top Shelf Apparel, Brandon at 4377 Lee Highway. And Lawson's Mobile Home Supply has been doing it since 1997, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Give James a call at 540-381-8011. And the NRV Super Bowl had a massive turnout, I understand, for their Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday. And go over there and check out this weekend. They've got their Boogie Bowl and midnight party going on. It's great, man. The improvements they've made, and there's something about being at a bowling alley. It's a good vibe. It's a good vibe. Morris says, don't worry, I'll be back on top again. Brian, about the Hokies. Glad to see them finish a game. Still nervous about the last 2 minutes. Yeah, well, I get it. Prometheus says, I absolutely love listening to Coach Rags. I know most of the guys he speaks of. Yeah, that's cool when you actually, you're played against them. It's a special thing, man. It's just, I sit there and I rev on Marty. Marty's texting me after the show. He goes, Rick, I say this every time, and I want you to know how much I appreciate what you've given me. And I'm like, what have I given you, man? He's like, this fellowship, and that's what he says. He says, with Rags and you and everybody back home means more to me than you'll ever know. Marty's going to Daytona and he travels all the time and he does all these things, but he's very true to where he grew up. And I think that influence, like me and like many of you, you've lost your dad. And I think when he sees Coach Rags, he just gets reminded of what kind of set him on the right course. It's really cool. And you can see the emotion. But the fact he took the time just to keep on. He texted me, I don't know, for about 45 minutes after the show, and how much he appreciates it and how his mind works talking about Rags. It's great. And I know how much it means to Coach Ragsdale. He's thanked me, but we thank him and Marty. It's such a unique opportunity. And many of us, I've lost Coach Hicks and you lost Coach Linneberg, and we've lost so many great coaches. And to have him around and what they accomplished, and now you understand how they went about their business at Giles and why they have the legacy they did. It's really, really cool. Really cool. Morris says, I will envision Roger Goodell and Bad Bunny on the golf ball. And now, of course, it came out from multiple credible sources yesterday on X that the NFL lied about their ratings, their halftime ratings. They lost viewers for the Super Bowl. And it ended up being, I think, about 11 million viewers they lost on their Super Bowl watch from the year before. and 39% of the audience checked out at halftime when they were trying to act like, and I love the way they were trying to act like people who were watching the game immediately got credit for watching their Super Bowl halftime choice. So again, we go back to how access media and how lies are told and dishonesty is promoted to get an agenda across. This is happening in every walk of media right now, journalism. True, Prometheus, you're right. Those memories, we never forget. So the league, has been it's been interesting to hear how quiet Roger Goodell has been since all this. And when take out, here's the problem with me. Throw out the political implications. I'm so sick and tired of political brainwashing that's going on in this country. Throw that out. What bothers me is once they translated what was being said in Spanish, there's now calls for the FCC to levy massive fine. If you haven't seen the transcripts of what was being said during halftime, that's the part that bothers me, and it should bother more people. You have so many kids watching the Super Bowl, so many young people, just blatant sexual references and phrases and that's, and I didn't know all that until I was reading some of the translations. And the fact the NFL and Roger Goodell just signed off on this, and did they not check on it? Did they just assume? Is this why they demanded that it be in Spanish? I don't know. But that part alone, in our country's biggest sports event, the fact that that went unchecked and that's not been, where's the upheaval? Why isn't the league responding? They just sit there quiet, see, so draped in their political leanings that they stay quiet. We're going to make multi-billions of dollars. We're almost $1 trillion industry. We're just going to sit there and do our thing. But I had no idea. I mean, I took Spanish in high school, but I don't speak it fluently. And when I saw the translation, I just sat there going, really? Can you imagine if this would have been in English? How quickly the FCC, they would have been knocked off the air? And why isn't the league up in arms? This is just where we are as a country. That's what bothers me. If I'm broadcasting a Radford basketball game and we lose at the end and I drop an expletive that I'm not supposed to, I'm getting yanked off the air. You know, back when this was just a radio show. Remember the old comedic bit with George Carlin? The 10 words you can't say on television? If I would have said any of those, then the FCC, if they would have gotten wind of it, or the station ownership, would have suspended me. Right? Right? Yet here's the NFL not even responding to the translated aspects of their halftime show. It was a horrible football game to begin with. And then this now has, and I've talked about this, I'm writing about this in the Patriot this week. The aftermath of all these decisions has overshadowed the game. No one's talking about the game at all. Not that it needed to be talked about because it was a mismatch and you kind of knew it was going to be. But you're right. It's the double standard because since the NFL made this decision and it fits what they believe, they're not going to say anything. I don't know how long they can continue to not say anything, because I think advertisers are going to start paying attention. I think the alternate halftime show drew enough interest to where advertisers are going to start paying attention. But it's pretty troubling, to be honest with you. And the fact that there's not outrage, or at least you could put on a front that there's outrage as the league who chose this, to make some kind of statement to show that you have any kind of moral compass. Nah. It's just a reminder they're all about the bottom line. They don't care about the core audience that built the league into what it is. They've lost touch with the common football fan. They have. And it shows in their product. They get so enveloped in everything else that they completely forget about the other things that are involved in all this. All right, I got to go take care of Boa here. I'll be right back. Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves, everybody. All right, back now. My apologies. Your animals are like your children. So I had to take care of the guy. David Smith's going to join us here in just a little bit. But anyway, that's where we are. But anyway, you know what? I can't remember any of the halftime shows that I've watched immediately. Yeah. Bottom line is, we are the fans that built the NFL. So for them to go this global model, it is. Completely is. What's up, Wayne? Thanks, TLB. Appreciate you, man. We're working on it. I'm working on it. We'll see if we can get some kind of resolve. UVA can't fill out their stadium as they're scheduled. Well, no, UVA is not scheduling a game in Brazil. That's all done at a much higher level than at UVA's level. But yeah, it's just like the Super Bowl, though. Yeah, if you're not wealthy, you're not going to be able to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, there were $5,000 seats at the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? When did it become like that? When did it become And there were some people that were saying, hey, I paid $5,000 a piece for these, and they were up in the top, and the glare was hitting them in the face. Well, that's your decision. You're the ones who were dumb enough to spend that much money to go see that Super Bowl. Yeah, but the international games aren't scheduled by the schools. Those are conference-driven, sponsor-driven things. To showcase college football overseas, the international draw of the game. I don't know what the lid is on it. I don't know if American football, I think it's a nice novelty for many of these places, but it's never going to be embraced as that thing. But it's immediate financial dividends for the league. More international sponsorship opportunities, which means even more money, and that's really all they care about. All they care about. All right, so we got back-to-back bangers. We talked about it. Andy Bitter later on today. Alex Quera, Radford's baseball season gets underway tomorrow. Mike Burnop, Dwight Vick. My goodness gracious. Yeah, but Wayne, you're immediately saying that if Virginia Tech was offered the same thing, that they would turn that down. We don't know the answer to that question. All right. I mean, it takes two to tango, but this isn't like Virginia's going around going, hey, there you go. Exactly. All right, joining us now on the program. There he is. He's our NFL correspondent, the Radford Hall of Famer. I don't get to see him that much anymore. It makes me sad. David Smith.
Good morning. After hearing that lineup that you got, I don't know that I deserve to hit leadoff. And by the way,
you're Ricky Henderson, my friend.
I was Ricky no Ricky. I never hit leadoff. I don't think
you did not. You were cleanup, or you had to be cleanup or third.
I was third, fourth, and sometimes fifth. That was my lane from age 8 to 18. So,
I can see that.
In the good old days, you're 6'4" shortstop. Amazingly enough, wasn't a first baseman either. Was not a first baseman. How about that, right? So, in your day, didn't every? I don't know if it was that way where you all are, but where you grew up, I've known that area forever. It's like my second home, the New River Valley. It's like where I grew up a little bit. A couple differences, but if you were the shortstop, you probably also pitched most times. You either short and then you pitched.
Yeah,
right?
You're right. Yeah. If it wasn't your pitching day, you were short. Yeah.
You were that short, and you couldn't exceed the innings limit in Little League Baseball.
That's right.
So many a week. And let me tell you, there were other teams watching that stuff, boy. And as you can imagine, I got my birth certificate checked quite a few times. As a tall, slim that guy can't be 12. I remember my dad, a man of few words. He would challenge. That'd be the only time he challenged folks. And when he stood up with his roaring voice, that calmed them down.
Calmed them down just a little bit. That's funny.
Those were the days. Funny. Yeah, man.
Who's that 20-year-old at shortstop? No, that's just David. That's just David.
Only thing that saved me, I didn't have the facial hair when I got to be for a long time. Still don't do it great even now. But those were the days. You remember those days. And in football, Rick, there were weight limits.
Yes, correct.
Remember that?
Yes.
Right? And so I didn't have any problem making that. I was pretty much in the range, but I remember a guy named Anthony Smith, of all things, was his name.
Yeah.
We used to tease him because we're not teasing. We would root for him. He was not a great player, but he wanted to play. But God, Rick, he couldn't make weight. So you could see him running. This was like 11, 10 years old. He would run and running because he wanted to be on the Wolverines, our local team, so bad. And I remember when he finally got it, like we all cheered for him, like, yo, good job. And we used to call him Hey, interestingly enough, from the old Fat Albert.
Absolutely.
But we didn't, it wasn't like a derogatory way. We just embraced him that way. And so even to this day, we still call him that. So it's been 50 years or whatever. But back in the good old days, man, doing Little League and all that good stuff, man.
Man, I love the Fat Albert Show. That was one of my favorite cartoons.
Fat Albert was funny, man. Bill Cosby with his genius ways, man. It was
Rudy
kind of
was my favorite. Rudy was my favorite.
Rudy, because I think Rudy was actually him. Was that the one that was actually?
Somebody what? Yeah, there was somebody on the one of the kids was actually portrayed to be. Correct. I don't remember who.
Well, I probably couldn't hear it because I was crunching my cornflakes in a way too big bowl. Unless maybe not you, maybe y'all didn't have cornflakes in the new. Maybe y'all didn't eat cereal like we did. Maybe y'all didn't. I know the answer though.
Sugar on top of the cornflakes. So yeah.
Well, if you ask Pebbles, all of them are a waste except Captain Crunch. And
well,
with this long football off season, we talked about doing lists one of these days. We could do a list with your chat team on cereals. They may already start lighting it up.
I think we should. They might.
Your group don't need much. All you got to do is just add a little bit to it, and they will go. But Captain Crunch was a classic. Crunch Berries was a classic. Traditional cornflakes. I've never was a Frosted Flakes guy though.
Really?
Never was. Really? Nah, too much sugar.
Too much sugar. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I understand that.
What was your go-to?
My go-to was probably the ones that aren't great. I love the Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles is not bad. That's not bad. That's my daughter's go-to. Yeah,
I used to love those. Yeah,
I was the flakes guy. I like the flakes, whichever flakes it was. Other than Frosted, I ate Wheaties a lot. Weirdly enough, I like traditional cornflakes in a way too big box.
Yeah, it was like gigantic. And did you eat Wheaties? Were you like me, David? You ate Wheaties because you saw athletes on there?
That's it.
I'm going to be a stud.
That's it. I figured, I was all bought into the hype. Listen, I work in marketing a little bit in my job, so I'm for it. But I also didn't mind the flavor, especially as I got to be a little bit older. And I felt like,
fun.
You know what?
It was fun.
Cereal with all this milk. I just, it's just hilarious the things we used to do, and Fruity Pebbles and Captain Crunch and Count Chocula, all those.
Oh, Count Chocula. No, there you go. Now Count Chocula.
Yeah, because you could drink that milk.
Absolutely.
You got a double shot. Yeah, man. So a time long gone, isn't it?
It is. Well, the NFL season now is long gone.
Yeah, man.
It was supposed to be. It's always supposed to be the showcase event. Let's just say the way it is. It was a dud. We kind of talked about it. Am I a little more bitter because the Broncos weren't full throttle? Maybe.
You should be.
The Patriots showed they shouldn't have been there. They were completely overmatched. They never adjusted. It's like Coach Elmo and Todd Grantham said. It's not like Seattle was doing anything. They'd blitz their corners from time to time, but they had a four-man rush, and you never saw any adjustment back. I was just surprised to see the Patriots not do anything to try to counter what Seattle was doing defensively. I don't know.
It was Rick. So much to unpack on that. First of all, I'll go back to your original opening salvo when we started talking about football. That's why everybody was so bothered. The Lamars of the world, the Josh Allens of the world. This was your shot. No Mahomes. And I'm not going to say allow New England to get there because you win 14 games. You figure it out. Don't apologize for getting there. They're not. But for all of us that are fans of the sport, we looked at New England and said, they just got there. They should not be our representative based on their play. Yes, they earned it, but it's like if Baltimore is Baltimore, Denver had it. Bo Nix gets hurt. No Bo Nix, and you still had chances to.
They almost beat them. Yeah,
Ricky still had chances, and so when you think of that, you kind of go lost opportunity. If you're Josh Allen, you're crushed.
That's exactly.
Gosh, and he knows, and I heard him say in some interviews too, this was the end of my coach, and I put that all on me because Sean McDermott's not getting fired. They win that game and get to the championship game. In fact, there's a part of me that still don't believe he's not there because I think his record was 98-40, something of these 48 games over 500, and they're just replacing coaches because they think let's up in that, and that'll get us over the hump.
100%.
I've seen that done one time that I can recall, and that was when John Gruden took over for Tony Dungy in Tampa, and Tony had gotten them 2 championship games. I'm of the opinion that they might have gotten there the next year had Tony stayed anyway. They might have gotten over the hump. Gruden gets in there. He gets his championship. He gets all the credit for beating his former team, which also shows you how good his former team was. The Raiders was right there too. So it's one of those where sometimes more is not more.
Though. That was Dungy's team. That wasn't Gruden.
It was Dungy's team. You talk to those guys. They all Derek Brooks and Ronde Barber. They all talk about the Tampa 2, the phrase and all that. Warren Sapp. They all it was our guy. Gruden, give him credit.
He
pushed him over the edge. He gets the ring.
He did.
But if you think about Buffalo, I'm hopeful that they're not in one of these situations where, well, maybe they hope that they are in a situation that maybe we'll pull a John Gruden here, get over the hump kind of thing. But back to the game, Rick, a sleeper, no other way to put it, a dud as a game. You're talking about, I think it was 15 punts in the game. Everybody, it was almost like, if you're a boxing fan at all, like I used to be a lot more, it's almost like the going through the fight, and it's like watching a Floyd Mayweather fight, and you're back into his career. I'm just trying not to lose the game. Right. I want you to screw up, and then when you screw up, we'll pounce on it. Yeah. And quite frankly, Rick, I think New England knew they weren't the goods, so they were trying to play it like
it felt like it. Yeah.
If Sam Darnold, who has historically done it, gives us a chance, we'll be there. And quite frankly, as boring as it was, field goal, field goal, field goal, field goal. It's 12-0, and I look at my wife and I go, this is a whole lot. New England only really needs 2 TDs. Yeah. Because Seattle had not impressed either, but they also were playing the same game of chicken. Let's wait on them to screw it up.
They were.
And what was so odd about the offensive line for New England not being able to protect, just in looking at some of the stuff I've looked at, and I'm sure you do too, that's not all on the line. Now, Will Campbell.
It's not all. No.
It's not. There are protections that the quarterback's got to give to his line, and I saw a couple of clips where all you had to do was just designate where the blitz was coming from on some level, and one shift in protections would have prevented these free runners that were running 20 yards down the field. Witherspoon was just sprinting straight to him. There's no chance for that to have any success at all. No. And then you add to it, New England only ran the ball 15 times. Now, they weren't able to move them anyway, but now we're back to the scheme part. Josh McDaniel, 10 Super Bowls. We talked about it before. You correctly gave the eye roll where Brady was part of 6 of those, and Belichick was part of the other 9. So if you think about all the games you've gotten to, you've been able to ride it. You there. That's fine. Okay, well, then use some of that experience and figure out some changes, for God's sake. I thought to myself, and they just continue to do the same thing. And even Chris Collinsworth was saying, he's like, they're going to have to throw the ball down the field at some point. And then when they decided to do it, Rick, during that one blip, wow, a little bit of success. 2 passes, they're in the end zone. I think it's 19-7. And you're thinking, all right, yeah, maybe. And then, of course, they hold Seattle and they get the ball back. They throw the incredibly bad interception in the middle of the field. They get out of that, I think, a field goal. And then then there's the blitz interceptions, 29-7. You can go to bed. And so it reminded me a little bit of the Patriots game. Brady's last win against the Rams was 13-3. It was that same kind of game. But the interesting part about that game is it still was close. Like, it wasn't a very interesting game. It wasn't like one of my all-time favorites was that gets lost a little bit. It's the Steve McNair game against the Rams. Mm-hmm. They ended up 1 yard short when they drives down the field against that Rams team, greatest show on turf. You're talking about the Patriots game when Brady, they said, well, he'll take a knee here, and they'll go to overtime, and Brady just comes down the field and puts Vinatieri in position to kick the field goal to win their first one. That was a good one. My all-time favorite, I can't remember the number right now, it's the Steelers 35-31 win over the Cowboys. There's about 18 Hall of Famers in the game.
Yeah, the second Steelers-Cowboys.
Yeah. Jackie Smith drops the ball. Well, I think it was actually the Jackie Smith one.
The sickest man in the world.
Oh, God. You
sickest man in America.
Oh, God. Yeah. Even Landry turns his head like this, like, oh, geez, we had him. That was a great game. Line up the Hall of Famers that was in that game. And you think about
79. Yeah, it was 79, I think.
That one, 79 was the Rams Steelers, the stalwart over the shoulder catch. I think that was their last one. I think that one was 78.
Was it 78? Because you had to buy Centennial Super Bowl, and then they played a few years later. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I think Dallas beat your guys, the Harvey Martin, Randy White game. They beat them. Then you had an Oakland one in there between the two Steelers.
Minnesota.
Yep. And so, but that game to me was, I thought,
great game. Yeah,
that was a great game. And even when it went up 35-31, Cowboys still had another last effort. I mean, you're talking about Roger Staubach. Yeah, talking about number 12, Terry Bradshaw. I mean, they're just players all over.
And the Rams were coming back. Vince Ferragamo, and he missed a wide open Billy Waddy.
Had him.
20 yards open for the winner.
And
he throws it right into the hands of Jack Lambert.
And what was so funny about that game, Rick, is the Steelers kind of knew, and you watch a lot of these documentaries like I do, because that was when I was immersed in this. I'm a Dolphins fan. We had just finished our run, which may not have been a run, may have been more of a walk. But the 72, 73, 74 run, or 71, 2-3, we lose to Dallas. Then we come back and we beat Washington in a game that should have been a shutout. The only one, it would have been the only one. Thank you, Garo, your premium. And then the next year we beat the Vikings handily. And then the next year we lose in the sea of hands. And then Steelers get their run. Oakland gets one in there. Denver goes. And then the Steelers get 2 more. And then Oakland comes back, plays the Eagles. I can go on with these Super Bowls. Kenny King down the sideline, and Dick Vermeil burn out. I'm done. And then the Eagles get their 1. And then actually Miami gets back to 2 more in the next 5 years. Ironically, David Woodley takes them back 1 year, the year that John Riggins breaks it open on 4th down. They win that one. And then, of course, Marino gets to the one in 84, his second year. And everybody thinks,
even he said it.
Oh, Rick, why wouldn't you? He throws for 5,000 yards. He's a stud. And the Niners win their second one. Of course, they won the first one in 81 against Cincinnati.
And Drake May's in the same situation. Year 2.
There he is, Rick. You
wonder, is he thinking, hey, I'll get back here? Well, we'll see.
Well, and Rick, add to that, too. You think about the second youngest quarterback to ever be in the Super Bowl. Marino was the first. And both of them, it didn't go well for them. No. So now the other part about the game, because the game itself was secondary to all this great content. Now, though, Rick, you're a first-place team. So you know what you get next year?
First-place schedule.
First-place schedule.
It all changes. Right.
As an example, I'm just sitting here looking at your schedule for the Broncos.
Oh, I know. That's what makes it so sickening. Yeah, we're not going to get back there after that schedule.
Well, your away schedule, of course, is your division. You go to the Cardinals. You actually go to the Patriots next year. You go to the Niners. You go to Carolina. You go to Pittsburgh, and then the Jets. That's your away schedule next year. You actually host the Dolphins. You actually host the Dolphins.
Me and you going to Denver for that one,
baby. How about it, brother? Stake on one of us. But listen, Rick, to your home schedule, you got the Jaguars, Seattle, Rams, Dolphins, Bills. And your division.
They might go 8. They might go 8-9.
Should I write that down?
I don't know. We'll see. That's tough, man.
But I'll finish this. I'll finish the Super Bowl commentary up with this. Mike Vrabel's the right guy. New England caught lightning in a bottle, as well as changing the culture. And there's no knocking 14 wins in the regular season. There's no knocking 17 NFL wins, weak schedule or not, because down the road, champions have been crowned, and no one has complained. I don't know what the schedule was of your Denver Broncos the year y'all went back to back. No one cares that whether it was light or whether it was heavy. I don't know if anybody cares. All I know is John Elway hoisted 2 championship trophies. If you get through that, stay injury-free for the most part. If you find a way to hold up the trophy, you're the champ. There's no other way to measure it.
No.
I mean, everyone wants to say, well, it was this and that. Well, what do you want us to do? Well,
right, you're playing the games. Right.
You want to have a beauty contest? No, listen. New England going out in that blizzard that you all were in, if Sean Payton kicks the field goal and if Stidham throws the ball away, you're in the Super Bowl. But I heard you say it. I'm not sure if I wanted to go deal with that Seattle bludgeoning.
Not with Stidham. But you think of how bad it would have been Stidham facing that Seattle defense.
But I will tell you this, Rick. I'll bet you Sean Payton wouldn't have gotten blitzed up the behind.
He would not. He would have adjusted. Correct. You're right.
He would have adjusted. And I think your defense would have probably stuck their nose in there a little bit more on some of the Seattle stuff. I mean, Kenneth Walker running rampant. I'm not sure he's going to run rampant on your defense. So maybe you muddy the game up too, and you find a way. Right. I don't know. I just think Stidham just kind of got sped up a little bit. You would have liked to have seen him get through it. Maybe a second game would have been fine for it. But listen, there's been upsets in Super Bowls before, but the Patriots are going to be fine. But they got to deal with now a resurgent Buffalo Bills team and an AFC that's filled with people that are pretty ticked off to watch y'all go there. You know, the Chargers aren't going away. The Ravens are rebooting. The Chiefs, you kidding me? The Chiefs, they're not going anywhere. You start thinking about that. The Colts was 8-1 before Daniel Jones got hurt. Nobody's even talking about them. About Jacksonville, Rick. Jacksonville, they're on the come up too.
Yeah.
They're on the come up too. And so you start thinking about that, and each of these seasons are fleeting. And so when you get a chance, you want to take advantage of it. And then one team I didn't even mention, if everybody loves Seattle's defense, about those Houston Texans.
Yeah.
They are 3 straight years, 3 straight playoffs, and CJ Stroud didn't show up great in the playoffs, and so some of the questions there linger. I don't think they'll extend him based on that, Rick.
No, they got to fix him or go elsewhere. Yeah.
But all in all, not a great game, a 29-13 game, a game that won't go into the top 50 of Super Bowls. You can go back to some of the Niners blowouts when they unfortunately beat Elway that year, or the Bears demolishing the Patriots, or some of those. Not an epic game. And so 60 years are in the books, and that's the end of that. And Rick, and I guess now we're on to the all season, which will be littered with draft, pick, selections and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and I think when watching, 2 things stood out to me. You and I've talked about how the product overall is not what it used to be. That was on full display, and there wasn't any big stars in that game offensively.
That's right.
Kenneth Walker's a very good running back. You would take him on your team in a heartbeat, but he's not a star player. They didn't have the star system in place. Neither quarterback played well.
No,
it was everything that the NFL unfortunately has evolved into in terms of its on-field product. And I'm sitting there going, no, this is what I'm talking about. This is not enjoyable. This is not even – this isn't even football in a lot of ways. What are we doing out here? This is a Super Bowl. And it just was so pedestrian, like you said. It's so pedestrian and just so – the national championship game of college football was 10 times better than the Super Bowl.
I think you just nailed what made last year different. You had Patrick Mahomes. Now, by the way, everyone was tired of the Chiefs. Wasn't they? Tired of the Chiefs.
Yeah, and we are.
But listen, you should be. I'm an AFC guy too. I am too. But I promise you, we were watching to see either him win it or his demise.
And Hurts on the other side.
And you had the Eagles. You had the Eagles. And they had, and by the way, we thought those teams were super elite. And so we wanted to see who was going to win it. The year before, they had played a really good game. And so you find yourself in a situation, or I think it was 2 years before, I guess it was. So you find yourself in a situation where you wanted to see the stars shine, whether the Kelsey effect, all that stuff. So so eyes are going to be on it, but it was stars of the football game.
Yeah.
That really is what it was. Teams that had big brands, they had been to Super Bowls before. Not now. New England's been to more than anybody. So you would think there's the big, but they didn't really. They resonated as a group, and I think we do attach to players a little bit more. And so the Sam Darnold story was fine, right? And then the Drake May story was also fine, but it didn't draw like my mom. I can't wait. The people who you want to see. For better or for worse, it's the old Cowboys thing. You want to watch them win, or you want to watch them get their head beat in. Whatever it is, you want to see it. And so I think the NFL, you take it because it's the biggest stage in the world, and they got this in the whole bit. But I'll tell you this, you don't think they'd root for a Chiefs-Cowboys Super Bowl like they did on Thanksgiving last year, where brands resonated in the whole bit. And so, but unfortunately, the sport doesn't work that way all the time, because we might have had ourselves a Broncos game, in there with a bad quarterback too. But that brand has resonated to some degree, but it wouldn't have been a star either, Rick, because Knicks was on the come up a lot, like May,
right,
and that kind of thing. I think the team that probably to me is really kicking itself the most right now is the LA Rams. The LA Rams to me, I think you even had them picked, I believe, Rick, to be there.
They would have.
I think that's to me. I think that's the best football team in the league. I do. I think Seattle played the best this year. I think the Rams are the best football team.
Yeah,
and Matthew Stafford.
That's fair.
That's just a take.
Yeah.
I believe that. I think if the Rams played anybody, I don't think that they would get destroyed by anyone. Now you give Seattle credit, because guess what they did? They beat them twice. They beat them twice, right. And so it takes a lot to get to that thing. It takes a lot of luck and whatnot. But so now we're off to the next. But you're right. Star power being lacking kind of hurt the end of the game.
And even though it was the same franchise, it didn't feel like the Patriots, because it didn't have Belichick. It didn't have Brady. It didn't have all the drama. It just felt like, okay, that's the same organization, but that's not the same draw. It's not the same thing.
It didn't. No Brady, no Belichick. Yeah, you just felt like it was like New England light.
Yeah, right. Yeah, New England light's a good way to put it.
Yeah, ultra light even.
Well, we'll see what the offseason brings. The NFL's got a lot of things it's got to go through. We've talked about it ad nauseum here, the things that they're subscribing to off the field that's not conducive to a lot of the national fans. So we'll see what they're going to do going forward. But all I know is they're steamrolling toward $1 trillion, and that's really all they care about. And I think they've made that so apparent that that's also kind of a negative. That they're only after one thing, as many dollars as they can gobble up, and they're kind of leaving a lot of fans in the wake, and that's disappointing to see.
I think they're going to have to be careful. You brought up a great point about this product on the field. I don't know that I see it totally like you, that it's not a great product on the field, because I think some of the good quarterback play is incredibly good, like really good and really hard to do. I think that may be better than it's ever been, because I think defenses are faster than they've ever been. I don't mean that they're always better, but meaning you've got to speed up the things that you do more than ever. Now, that may mean that the product that we watched with the Bradshaws and the Starbacks and the Montanas of the world, when you knew you were going to get bludgeoned, that to me was the generation that I thought was the best, because not only Ronnie Lott and Lawrence Taylor was pretty good. Reggie White's pretty good. Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert, pretty good. Randy Gradishar, Tom Jackson, pretty good. So it doesn't mean that they weren't good. What I'm saying is from a speed standpoint now, no one would argue that there are faster people playing. So the processing has to be faster, which sometimes can result in it being horrible looking, but it also can result in it being great if you can figure it out, like Stafford. But it's like LT said, Joe Montana is his favorite quarterback of all time. He says not Brady. And when asked, he said Joe Montana had to stand in there and take these hits that you can't imagine. Jerry Rice had to go across the middle, take these hits, knees taken out, Swan, Drew Pearson, all these guys, Rick Upchurch, all these guys had to take. You go across the middle there, you taking shots, and no one blinked. No one blinked. Now, while I think it's better that we don't have that, back then it was a thing. So 1,000 catches, if you happen to get them in those days, you're a grown man. You were able to earn them. Even back to when T.O. was coming through and a little bit Randy Moss, like 20 years ago and things like that. So, Rick, I think to your point, the league's got to be careful as they want to try to expand this thing to 18 games. They keep talking about it. It's going to happen, Rick. It's going to happen. So,
there's no doubt it's going to happen. Yeah.
So they're going to do 18 games, and you and I have talked about it on this program. You better increase these roster sizes. You better increase the compensation. You better have all these things in play, because the NFLPA is not having it. They're like, bro, we don't have anything left. The season's – these guys go to camp in July, late July. Rick, it's Valentine's Day Saturday.
I know.
The Super Bowl next year is on Valentine's Day.
Stretched it out so much. Yeah.
Well, it's the second Sunday in February, and just so happens with the calendar next year, it's on the 14th, which is the latest that the Super Bowl's ever been played. Well, that's fine for all of us that can't get enough of football, and people like me, I'm already missing it. I don't know what we're going to do, but you and I will figure it out. But it starts in July, Rick. These guys go to camp in July, and they're playing 17 games. If they do 18 games, and it's going to happen. With 2 buys, you're going to have to increase the money for these guys. You got to increase the roster size, because to me, it's just a battle of attrition. I mean,
the bye week.
The other bye week. It's going to bleed into a little bit of the Labor Day thing. And, Drake May's shoulder was banged up already. He talked about having to get a shot and that kind of thing. And so we'll see how it all goes, Rick. The interesting part about the NFL is they like to move stuff around to try to keep us entertained. This year, I think the NFL draft's in Pittsburgh. It's in Pittsburgh. So we'll see what all happens. That's in April. And so for now, everybody's finally catching their collective breath. And the Seattle is not complaining about the way things ended. After they lost their last Super Bowl on the goal line, they're saying, you guys can act like it was boring all you want. All I know is we're getting fitted. And so that's all that matters, bro.
Well, and we'll have to get into the the draft. And unless your name is the Las Vegas Raiders, if you need a quarterback, good luck, because this might be the worst I've ever seen. The Raiders are going to look into this thing and be perfectly set. Watch out. It won't take them long. With Kubiak and Mendoza, I bet you we're going to be talking about the Raiders as soon as 2027 back in the mix for the playoffs in the division. You watch.
The only thing that could slow that progress is you guys are in a tough division.
Tough division.
That's 6 times out of the 17, no matter if it's home or away, that they're going to feel the wrath of pretty darn good defenses. when you think about you guys, nobody wants to come to Mile High and deal with that mess. I'm just telling you, nobody wanting to deal with Van Joseph's got the secret sauce right now. And so does the Chargers too, in a lot of ways. Yeah. And so they're going to get their offensive line fixed next year. I think the Chargers, there's a lot of people think that those two guys that they had out, Alt and I can't remember the other lineman's name for the Chargers.
Yeah, they lost 2. That's right.
They lost 2. I mean, that's 40% of the line. And Harbaugh, his strategy is to bludgeon people with the line.
The ball. Yep.
And so I think that's going to be an issue. But you're right, Rick. On the clock now, and it won't take long to hand that card in.
No.
Is the Las Vegas Raiders, baby. Absolutely.
He's going to be a megastar, in my opinion. We'll get into Mendoza and what I like about him and what you like about him or don't like about him. But I think he's going to be a megastar. I really
should be fun, man. Looking forward to it.
Well, great to see you, man. When you coming back down to Dedmon? Need to see you.
We'll be that Saturday. We'll be that Saturday.
Okay, good,
man. Senior day, right? Senior day. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what that means anymore, but yeah.
Yeah. How about that? Couples and I talked about that very thing. We talked about that senior day. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's something that's probably going to filter its way out soon, to be honest. I don't think we're going to be doing that much longer. It's kind of silly, but
you know what, Rick? One of those lost things. I remember the year when I think it was Javonte Green's team, and it was like 7 of them. I think I remember.
Yeah.
It was like real emotional. Those guys that have been there for 4 years, and so
yes,
yeah. I think
those days are long gone,
long gone. Yeah, you go, brother. But we'll see you Saturday. We'll be down there.
Good,
should be
good.
fun.
All right, brother. Thanks, man. Y'all guys, you be safe coming down here.
Yep, no problem, bro. We'll see you next Thursday. I'm on for Thursday, so you can keep me right here in this spot, man.
Beautiful. Yeah, I want to talk about Mendoza a little bit.
Let's get into that, and we can also talk about these coaching hires.
We got to get into that too,
and see a little bit about what's going on and what we think about them, and maybe do some projections early. You got it, brother.
We'll do it. All right, brother. See you Saturday, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care. There you go, David Smith, our NFL correspondent, best guy you're going to find anywhere. By the way, right there. Watch anybody on TV. I'm telling you watch anybody on TV, then you come back and you watch David and you tell me who's better. Just let me know. Your thoughts. We got a lot going on today. Andy Bitter here in just a second. I got to send him the invite. There it goes. Alex Guerra, Radford Baseball starts tomorrow, 2:00. If you're around Williams Field, come hang out. I'll be out there, not broadcasting tomorrow because we have our basketball stuff set up, but I'll be there. Mike Burnup's going to join us. Clemson last night, big win for Tech. We'll talk to him a lot more about that. They kept their season alive for the NCAA. Still not healthy, but, man, they circled the wagons on the road last night. That was huge. Huge. We talked about it, went into it, and they got it done. And then Dwight Vick to finish up today. So it's back-to-back just, banger shows, man. It's great. It's good. Easy lifting for me. There he is. He's the lead writer for Tech Sideline, Andy Bitter. What's that, BB? Good morning.
Not much. How you doing?
Hey, hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. And already people wanted me to talk to you about, of course, we lost Mr. Worsham yesterday, and people referencing a great column that you had on him. You got to know him a little bit, and they're kind of talking about what you revealed about his life and his legacy at Virginia Tech, man. So people thinking about you and your article as that news came down yesterday.
Yeah, it's sad news. That's honestly is one of the best stories I've ever written. And part of it is because Wes was so forthcoming with his story. And, it's a story of going to war and a story of loss. And, he really opened up for me in that story. And actually, when I heard about it from Kyle Tucker when I took over the beat.
Yeah.
And he sort of gave me the broad strokes. And not all of it was right. It was like, well, he and a friend were going to share a beer at he called it the Yellow River. It's actually the Yalu River at the top edge of Korea. It didn't end up happening. His friend ended up dying, and he came back, and that was that. And when I was researching the story, I was looking up his friend's name, and I'm like, the date of death on his friend's name doesn't line up with the Korean War. So when I was going up to meet Wes at his house, and his house is fantastic up there. It was up in like Rappahannock area, I believe. I went up there, and I'm like, this the story's not adding up. And then I sit down and talk to him, and like the reveal of like they got separated, and then they both came back from war and didn't realize both had made it through the war, and then find out he dies years later of a heart attack. I think it was 10 or 15 years after the war. And then there's sort of that moment of regret, like, man, if only I'd gone down there and seen him.
Yeah.
I mean, that really made the story. And, you know, when you're talking to somebody like that for a story, like that's very vulnerable. That's a tough spot. And, you know, the other side of it is, you know, that story is the point of the story is he goes to his friend's gravesite in Blacksburg, or every year he went there, and he would share that beer with him. He would go to the gravesite, crack 2 beers, and he would have one and he'd set the other on the gravestone. And you think about that and how personal of a moment that is. And I think there was a little hesitancy at first. You know, like, hey, you know, would you mind if we went? He's like, I don't know. And then the day of, you know, he like, I talked to him that day, and he's like, hey, let's go over to the gravesite.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
And so I was there with them. He allowed Matt Gentry to come and to take pictures. And Matt did a great job, incredibly respectful of the whole thing. Arthur Fleet's grandson, he was the guy that he befriended there. His grandson actually came out too, and he got to know Wes, and they kind of became friends, getting to know each other. And because his grandson never saw his grandfather, never met him. Arthur Fleet had died before that, so he kind of learned more about his grandfather through Wes and through this whole process. So just an incredibly neat story, a great guy, and sad news to hear about him.
For people who may not know, his contributions, obviously, you know, the field's going to be named after him forever. Talk about how that evolved, because people were talking about he wasn't an alum of, you know, Virginia Tech, but he fell in love with the place. Yeah,
well, he went to war in Korea, and he met a guy from Blacksburg, and the guy from Blacksburg kept talking about how great Virginia Tech was, and they ended up getting separated in the war. Wes thought that he had died and kind of felt guilty about it, and never looked him up or anything after the war. He actually survived. He came back to Blacksburg, and Wes went back to, I believe, the Richmond area is where he was from. This Arthur Fleet, the guy that Wes had befriended, died years later. You know, war takes its toll on a person. And then Wes, you know, I guess trying to look him up years later, comes to find out that he had made it back to America after the war. And he felt terrible. He was like, man, all those years we could have reconnected, and I didn't call him up. Well, he came down to Blacksburg, and he, you know, became friends with Arthur's family, and, you know, Arthur's love of Virginia Tech. All of a sudden, Wes started liking Virginia Tech too, became a big fan. You know, Frank Beamer has success early on, or doesn't really have success early on at Virginia Tech, but, you know, Wes became a fan of the program. And, you know, when this program needed money badly, you know, Wes donated $1 million when like $1 million was huge,
sure,
and like program defining. So, you know, you wonder why the name in the field is named after someone like this. I mean, he gave the program money when it absolutely needed it, when Frank Beamer needed it to get it rolling. And eventually they did. And, you know, they give out the Wes Worsham Award in the spring. He was always in the locker room. He was the guy that had the pants that had the Hokie birds on them.
Oh, okay.
That was his thing. He had them custom made, I believe.
That's cool.
But that was his thing. So he was on the sidelines for a long time, then moved up to the box later on when it became tough to get around and stuff like that. So just a big Hokie supporter, and kind of an interesting way that his story came about, and how he came to love Virginia Tech.
What a legacy, right? I mean, you don't get to choose your own legacy, but his is always going to be there, man. It's just you go to the field, it's there. And what your stories you're telling, it's just cool. People are going to know that. And hopefully now that'll come out again. You going to re-release that? That would be cool.
It's the Roanoke Times' story and the Virginia Pilot. I wrote it when I was at the Times and then the Pilot. So, I put a link up there, a link that you can read too, because it'd be behind a paywall usually, but there's ways to get around the paywall. But I mean, that's a story. I don't feel bad about trying to bypass the paywall there. I'm like, I just want people to read Wes's story.
Sure.
Enjoy it, even if it's just one story.
Well, what a moment for you. And I know you've had a lot of great ones as a journalist, but to be able to experience that with him and the fact he gave you that access, you still have to think about that as being like, wow, that puts this in perspective, what I'm doing, man. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and I did pretty well in an awards category on that one too. So that's always nice too. But the reward of writing the story and like sort of the mystery unraveling and being like, how did this work again? It's like, oh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I still use. I teach that journalism class. I use that one as an example of like, here's how you can you can kind of bring a story to life, and how it. And honestly, it was a tough one to screw up. All the pieces just kind of. I mean, sometimes the universe just comes together, and the pieces just line up, and they hand you a story like that, and just go, "Hey, don't mess this up."
Yeah, no, I get it. It's kind of like here every month with Steve Ragsdale, Marty Smith. That just kind of happened, and you just let that unfold. You just stay the hell all the way, and you're like, "Yeah, this is special. This is special. This is special." All right, so coming out of the pressers last week, what kind of things are you going to focus on now so people can start to look for things? We're not going to find out a whole lot till we get closer to the spring, but did you get enough now to start thinking about, okay, how I'm going to try to frame this to, keep folks in the know as much as possible?
No. I'm going to write about cheer today, and I'll be honest. That is using all of the Buffalo at that point. Like I have stretched that material. Like everything will be used. Every quote that was at that thing basically has been used, and this will be the 4th story I read off that thing. So I got 4 stories out of it. I feel 4 stories is as many questions as James Franklin took. So I feel pretty good about getting 4 stories out of that. It's already sort of getting diminishing returns. We'll see what the special team story does today. But I feel like I have to write it because we talked to them, and they all have interesting stories. That's what you want to get to, is the personal stories behind these coaches, and their coaching philosophies are great, but they only differ so much. You want to run the ball and have explosive plays. I get that, but I want to learn about Ty Howell, the person. And, we could have used a little bit more opportunity with that. But, Shearer, I thought was kind of an interesting, energetic guy. And, I'll write something about that today. But then I'm going to need some new material because, like I said, we have used all of the Buffalo at that point.
Well, and it is tough to get a vibe, and we'll see it as it unfolds. But that's kind of the way it is everywhere. I don't know what kind of a vibe we're going to have around the ACC. You can't project, right? We can't kind of go into it and look the Duke situation, how it played out with Miami, the quarterback. I mean, everything's kind of an unknown, isn't it? League wide and really Power 4 wide, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's college football these days. We go in the ACC kickoff, and it used to be that you sort of had an idea year to year how teams go. And last year, I didn't really have any idea. And even the ones I thought I did, I was telling people last year, I'm like, well, I know 2 things that I was solid about in my ballot, and that's Clemson number 1 and Wake Forest last.
Right.
And I was so wrong. On both of those. Could not be more wrong. I mean, Clemson did not come close to winning the title. Wake Forest won 9 games last year. I could not have been more wrong on that. So just the roster variance so much. And then, even if you think you have a good idea of the transfer haul that they brought in, are they going to fit? I mean, everybody thought Florida State's transfer classes have been great the last couple of years, and they stink. They've been an awful team. So, it's just tough to predict how things are going to go. And that's fun. That's good. And especially if you're a fan of a team that went 3-9 one year, like Virginia Tech, there's hope. You can look at it and go, well, that doesn't matter. It might matter when you're picking the teams in August, but it might not. It's not going to matter for the results during the season. So I think it's a really tall task these days. And you read all these preview things, and you look at the rosters, you try to come up with, this team's going to be pretty good. And maybe it's better sense when you see, the Duke's quarterback went to Miami. I think Miami will be better than Duke this year because they stole their quarterback and best receiver, and Duke has to replenish everything there. But you get teams 3 to 15 in the conference. I mean, good luck.
Yeah.
And even below that, I will not underrate Wake Forest this year. I'll say that much.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There was a graphic yesterday I saw that said that they released all the percentage of, the stadium being filled. You may have seen it as well. You're there at every game. I want to ask you, it had Virginia Tech listed at 91% capacity for the season. I guess these are school-related reported numbers. Did you get that, even though Tech was 3-9? I mean, it always looked fairly full. What would you think that's accurate, about 91%?
Yeah, I don't know how they tabulated those numbers. UNC was like 100%. It's like, no. They weren't.
It had to just be sales or something.
Yeah. I don't think that's an apples to apples comparison for all those schools.
Yeah, agreed.
At the top of that, there's I think Wake Forest was 100% and SMU was 105%. It's like what are we?
Yeah.
If you're going to go above capacity, Yeah, and somebody mentions BC's number. I guarantee you BC was not at 92%. That stadium has never been 92% full in its history. So yeah, there's no way that those numbers were correct. But I think Virginia Tech had a decent crowd for how bad it was over the course of the season.
Yeah, I agree. People were saying that was just tickets that were sold, and that could be corporate boxes. Yeah, they just kind of fudged that.
I mean, but BC didn't sell 92% of its tickets. I don't believe that. There's got to be some funky accounting going on.
Yeah, something. These were left over. We'll put them as sold. Mark them as sold.
So they put it in a nice little neat graphic, but understand that everything you see on Facebook and social media is probably not giving the full picture of this stuff.
It's a very good point. I want to get your thoughts too. More and more schools, it's interesting how, I don't know if it's strategic, but everybody's revealing how much money they've lost in athletics throughout the institution. The Rutgers reveal, UCLA just did it. Other schools are starting to do it. You think there's a reason for that? Or what is your first take when you see that? I think the Rutgers debt was $500 million and 90% of it was related to athletics or whatever it was. Florida State was another one.
Well, you ever see how these professional franchises like to say how much their money they're not making as well? But then again, it's funky accounting practices. They're not including all the TV money they get. Like, oh, our operating costs are running at a loss. It's like, okay, well, when you add the $1 billion TV contract you get on top of that, nobody's losing money. I think it's the same thing.
We're just leaving it out. Yeah.
Well, there's a payroll to meet now for these college teams, and there's this whole debate about how much that should be. And oh my gosh, can we afford to do all this stuff? Yes, you can. You're making money, tons of money, and for the longest time, you have purposely run at a deficit because it'd be shameful to run a profit. If you're not paying the players, you don't want to show any profit at the end of the day, because then people are going to start questioning why you're not paying the players. So I think it's still sort of a remnant of that. I mean, some of these places have gone into debt for just mismanagement reasons. Some of them, I mean, Florida State just went through a huge stadium expansion.
Yeah.
So I'm not really surprised that's the case. I think Penn State's got a huge debt. They're redoing their stadium right now too. So I think some of that is related to that. Rutgers and UCLA, maybe less so, maybe just mismanagement, but carrying a debt is not the worst thing. It's keeping it at a manageable number. I mean, Virginia Tech has a debt for its athletic department. It's not huge like that. It's something that's manageable. But I think some of the reason this is coming out is just they're going to court and they're having to do all this stuff. Why are we paying all these players all this money and stuff? You have to make it look like you're not really profiting that much. It's like, I think everybody's doing, athletic administrators are doing fine and dandy in this whole thing, salary wise. Don't try to shift the narrative somewhere else so it appears that players shouldn't have to get money too.
That's true. We're not hearing about guys taking less money to be administrators, are we? That's true.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about that trend yet. That's not happening. They said, is it true that Tech was in the black actually last year? Is that right? Is that some people were saying?
If it is, it's a minimal amount, and again, that's just year to year. Just a variance that happens from year to year. Sometimes there'll be a couple years where they'll be in the black, and then they'll have some capital project that finishes, and then they'll be in the red that one year. So I think that's just sort of an accounting practice. If they are in the black, I'm sure they're going to spend that money. It's not like they're just like, all right, bonuses for everybody. We're in the black this year. That's not how this works.
Right.
That money will get put back into something somewhere. But again, I think this is part of the reason where like people talk about all these other sports. Man, we're losing money on all these other sports, and football is the only one that makes money. Why do we have these other sports? Like, why even have an athletic department if you're just going to have a football program? Like, put these sports out there. You're doing them for a reason. Does the biology department at Virginia Tech make money? No, you do it for a reason, to enhance the lives of students and to attract students to come here. And if you really want it to succeed, you'll pay for it. You'll find a way to do it. So sometimes I just hate the framing on this kind of stuff. It's like, oh, wrestling is losing money at Virginia Tech. It's like, right, but it's a net positive for Virginia Tech to have a fun, successful wrestling program that attracts students that want to participate in that. And I mean, that's still sort of the whole academic mission here, is to bring in students of varying backgrounds and educate them. So, I dislike the framing of some of this stuff sometimes.
Yeah, maybe since football's gone so far away from the academic part with all this pay for play, we forget that what you're saying is so vital from the educational standpoint for many of these other sports. I mean, it's true. It's true. So, well, we're done with football for a while. Crappy Super Bowl.
It's terrible Super Bowl.
Terrible Super Bowl. Nothing there at all. And,
the only thing good about the Super Bowl is that I accurately bet it than thinking that the Patriots were going to lose. So,
hey, well,
we'll take that. We'll take that. We'll go on a high note. If Stephon Diggs had one more catch, then I was really going to cash in. But, you almost. It was a long shot parlay, and it wasn't going to happen. And then he caught a pass in the last drive, and I'm like, oh, they could backdoor this one, and I could get it. And then they didn't go back to him after that. I was a little disappointed.
Well, you finished in the black. That's all that matters. That's all.
I finished about dead even. I think. I consider that a win, actually.
You're like the athletic departments. All right, brother. Great stuff as always, man. And we shall talk to you again. Have a great weekend. You got a weekend. You can just kind of take a deep breath now. So
yeah, I just want it to be warm and melt the snow. That's all.
Yes.
That's all I care about.
Yeah, get it out of here. Get it out of here. All right, AB. Take care, brother.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, man. Be good. Good stuff, Mandy Bitter. Great stuff about West Worsham too. Big loss for the tech community, but man, oh man, oh man. That's a great story, and I love it too because it kills the whole thing about, hey, if you weren't a grad from there, you can't be a fan. You can't adapt a school or community, right? Sure you can. I mean, that guy, he loved Virginia Tech. He didn't go there. But he absolutely loved the place, loved the area. And without his contribution early on, as you heard Andy say, in the Beamer era, what do we have? I think it's awesome. I mean, I get you have a special affinity when that's your alma mater, like I do for this place. I get it. But I think it's awesome when you can go somewhere, fall in love with the school, the people who are running the school, the community around it, and you just are so entrenched in it. Okay, you need $1 million. Nobody else is stepping up here. What a great story, man. I love that. So rest in peace, Mr. Worsham. I mean, that's a great legacy. His legacy is there for forever and ever and ever. And it's just because of the passion he had for the place. And we don't have that today as much as we would hope that we have. Not just around, I'm not talking just tech, I'm talking about everything, everywhere. And he stayed, that's right, Wayne. Yeah, he stayed with us. That's what people have been sending me on the professional text line. He never, ever, it didn't matter if the seasons were bad, didn't matter what people were saying about the coach. Nothing mattered. He was going to support it full throttle. And then when he started doing well, then he just started to enjoy the just desserts here. Coach Elmo saying, yeah, when all the big hitters would bail, Wes was always there because Coach Elmo was there during that time. So next we'll have Coach Elmo on Monday. We'll talk more about his relationship too. It's a great story. It's a great, great story. And he'll be missed. His legacy will continue to thrive. And those are the kind of things that it brings us back, you know, it reminds us of how things can be. And you hope that they can be like that again. And whether they can or not, doubtful, but that's pure fanship and pure passion for a place. And I think that's really, really cool. And I remember seeing him around when I was doing the Tech women's games, and always a glad hand coming out, happy support. It's just the way things are supposed to be. Yeah, that won't go well, Tebow. Yeah, what's happening here in the state now is it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. I don't know how much of it's actually going to go through, but yeah, the continued push is Whew. Yeah. But that's cool. And by the way, just go to Andy's X account. Go to Andy's X account, and you can call up the article that he wrote about Mr. Worsham. I feel like I still have to call him Mr. Worsham. Because when you met him, he's such a good dude, but you feel like you should say Mr. Worsham. He wouldn't want that, but I feel like you have to. I feel like you have to. It is college baseball season, and that's kind of where my focus is going to be for baseball season. But Major League Baseball has jumped the shark, and they're going to go on a huge work stoppage after 2026. It's going to happen. There will be, when all this is settled, and I think it's going to cost them a whole season next year, there will be a salary cap, and there'll be a salary floor. The players are going to fight it tooth and nail, but the league, I think enough's enough. When you see people who support baseball and they release charts saying that of the, 30 teams in Major League Baseball, only 8 fan bases have a legitimate opportunity to compete for a World Series, unless somebody just catches. I mean, that's pretty telling. It's less than a third of your league. Yeah, agreed, Wayne. That's right. That's why you feel. I mean, I still call him Mr. Worsham. Agreed. I mean, he is on the Mount Rushmore. If you had a Mount Rushmore, Virginia Tech, athletics, Wes Worsham's on Mount Rushmore, right? I mean, without question. Frank Beamer's on Mount Rushmore. Oh, that's a good question. Maybe that should be our fan question of the week next week. Who is the Mount Rushmore of Virginia Tech athletics? Mike Vick? Oh, that's a good one, man. That one's fun. Does Jim Weaver get consideration? Does Phil Elmation? Coach, I know you're watching. Dave Brain, Bonnie Hendrickson. I mean, I don't know. That's pretty cool. That's fun. That's fun. But we'll figure all that out. We'll figure all that out. But anyway, college baseball season is here, and it gets underway tomorrow. And, of course, we wish best of luck always to Chuck Hartman. Oh, man, I love Chuck Hartman. Tebow says Justin Fuente. No, you don't mean that, Tebow. With Tech and Radford softball is already underway. Tech went 5-0. Radford got washed out. They're traveling this week. But Radford baseball gets underway tomorrow. And it's year 4 for Alex Guerra. And he's going to join us here in just a second as he gets set up. I see him in the green room, but he's not in front of his camera, so we'll give him time. And it's an exciting time. We have home series opening up the season tomorrow against Iona, and it is here. Coach Elmo says, put my face on Mount Trashmore. No, Coach, you're not on Mount Trashmore. Bruce Smith, yeah. I mean, Carol Dale. I mean, it's fun. You may have to do you know what would be more fun? Do a Mount Rushmore for every sport, administrators in sport. But there he is, joining us now on the program. He is the head baseball coach of the Radford Highlanders, and his name is Alex Guerra. What's up, AG? How are you, brother?
Rick, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. First of all, congratulations. I was out there several days watching you guys break up. You don't understand how thick the ice and snow was on our field. And I'm telling you, it took a team effort. They had the gators out there, the water hoses. Take us through the process. Then I go out there yesterday, and it was glorious. I see dudes on the field. You did a hell of a job, man. That was awesome.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I probably should have listened to our Big South softball coach of the year, or maybe just took his advice of doing nothing, because his field was perfectly melted from Mother Nature and the sun. But unfortunately, I don't have the patience to sit around and wait for that to happen.
No.
I feel like we had to do something. No, look, our facilities people were awesome. Those guys were out there with us every step of the way. Our coaching staff, we just bottom lined it, man. We were about as blue collar as it gets, and we just drove around those gators for, I think it was about 3.5, 4 hours on Tuesday evening, and then yesterday then Wednesday. Yeah, then Wednesday we were out there for as long as it took.
Yeah.
But the guys did a great job. I mean, the ice was really, really thick. It was bad down that first base line. The drift from the wind, from the snow.
I know.
And it was cold. It was just, I think it was one of those things where it was really tough to just trust that the sun was gonna get it. But once you spread out that, the ice and all those chunks, it gets into the rubber. It heats it up pretty good. Huge shout out to our very supportive and I'd say an extension of our coaching staff / family, DVP. He was out there in a gator.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, Radford Baseball Hall of Famer. Huge support of our programs. And he's done so many just wonderful things for us. It's the type of guy he is. He's going to be doing community service tonight after practice with a couple of guys.
That's
so it's
awesome.
not like he just comes down here and
no.
He really pours himself into this place. So huge shout out to DVP and all that he does. We'll be on live tonight as well at 7:00.
Very cool.
On our Facebook thing that we do. So
okay, good.
But yeah,
Year 4, man.
On to baseball now. It was nice to be able to hit fungos.
Hey,
that was fun. Better than on the shovel. So.
Well, and there's a lot of excitement. And I think about your journey as you got here. You walked into an absolute minefield, and you knew what the first year was going to be. And then you saw the progress. You saw the program being implemented year 2. And then last year, you get right there to 500. You see that, and you're like, okay, now this thing's gone. And now here you are in year 4. And I know you're excited because the retention you have on your roster, as I've been looking up and down this thing, really impressive given this day and age. I don't think people pay enough attention to how much in baseball, college baseball players are jumping too, not just football and basketball, but you did a great job keeping those kids here. And it's a credit to you that they wanted to stay here and be part of your program in year 4.
No, I appreciate it. Those really kind things to say. We've got great kids.
They are.
And they are totally invested in each other. They have wonderful relationships off the field. They've got great friendships. They believe in the things that we're doing.
Yep.
I believe that they've had a really good experience up to this point, and I think they see the potential in what this team can be and what this program can be. I think great players want to be around great players, and they want to be pushed. They want to be challenged, and on top of the fact, when they enjoy being around each other, it makes it really tough to leave. And I think our kids are really smart. I think our players are extremely intelligent, and in regards to the landscape of the portal, and they see a lot of different stories. They talk about it. I hear them talk about it.
Yeah.
Just about sometimes the grass is not always greener on the other side. Sometimes it is. That's for everybody's individual decision to make. But it's not like we're here and we're scaring them away from going into the portal. It's a day-to-day, treating them really well, practicing really hard, challenging them on a daily basis, trying to bring out the best in them. And they also realize, I think we got a chance to really win.
Exactly.
And to play some really good baseball. And, that junior class that we have right now, in particular, it's a really special class because we sat down and we talked to the majority of them when they were 16, 17, 18 years old. And we explained to them the vision of this program. We explained to them where we were at. We explained to them that it was going to be a challenging journey. When you're playing freshmen, sophomores, like sometimes you're going to get your ass kicked, and it is what it is. And you got to take your lumps. You got to take your lumps, just like a first-time head coach, second-year head coach. Like, you got to sometimes take your lumps, but you got to learn from them and grow. And I think our players have done that, and we've done it together. And really excited about just to see them go out there and let it rip and have some fun.
Well, and of course, it always begins and ends with pitching. And
yes,
that of all the retention which you have coming back, and Raymond Lack coming back, and I know you're going to ease him back into things. But what Brecken did last year, Brecken Nace, he took the ball and just ran with it from day one, and now he's going to be your ace. And he's one of the premier pitchers in the league. He's a guy that's going to get drafted. I mean, talk about his development, what he brings. If people don't know about who we're talking about right now, you will here in a couple months.
Brecken's been a really special player in our program, and huge credit to Coach Bourne. He kind of led off and, handled the majority and pretty much all of his recruiting. Was going to be a sidearm, somewhat left-handed pitcher. He was committed to another school, Division III school, and had an opportunity to go out there and see him. We felt like he could be a guy that is of Division I caliber. Christian went and watched him play, and he goes, "Look, man, I think he can hit a little bit." A very similar story to Chase DeLauder at JMU. Our pitching coach went to see him pitch, and then he saw him hit, and he's like, "Hey, man, I think this kid looks like Ichiro." And now the kid's playing with the Cleveland Indians. So very similar type story where it was, all right, we'll give him a shot to hit.
That's cool.
And he came in here, and the kid just had good at bat after good at bat after good at bat, and felt like he was going to be a huge piece of our lineup, as early as a freshman. Because of certain situations, would have loved to have been able to probably get him some more at bats, but the times that he did, he just continued to just really perform like an older guy. Was really mature in the box, and he's turned himself into one of the best two-way players in the country. On the John Allred Award watch list, a legitimate two-way player, probably the most, I don't want to say necessarily talented, because Chase was real, but he's probably a poor man's Chase.
Yeah.
He's number two. And he's been the most, I would say, he's performed the best out of any two-way player I've ever coached, with the ability for him to come in every day, show up. And he's done awesome. I'm really proud of the way he's matured, the way he's grown personally off the field, and kind of grown into his own personality. And for anybody that knows him in our program, you'll probably chuckle and laugh a little bit. This shy, introverted kid has turned into a pretty confident, but still quiet kid. So I'm really proud of Brecken. And again, he's part of that class that's really kind of been the cornerstone of this program of turning it around. So, but yeah, you're right. It starts and ends with pitching. Ray Ladd's been awesome.
Yeah.
Really excited to get him back. Being able
That's
to have.
story. That's a great story. It is.
Oh God, there's so many really good ones on our team.
I know.
So.
Well, and I've been around this program a long time. One of my favorite, Hunter King, coming back. Purely, talk to him a little bit. He loves Radford. He loves this program. He wants that extra year. He knows where this program has been and where it's going to go. Talk about his leadership, the way he takes on captainship, just every day, the way he handles himself out there leading this team.
Man, there are some guys that you coach that they just have that aura and that it factor about him. In the way they go about their business and the way that guys gravitate towards them. When he speaks, there's no eye roll from the
right
the sophomore or junior in the back, or there's nobody there's urgency when he speaks. He's not a guy that's going to yell and scream and cuss at you. He's about as blue collar as it gets as far as his story and getting here. A kid that was not recruited really whatsoever at high school. Was offered a walk-on spot to the local junior college down in Florida in Santa Fe. We took a huge chance on him. At the time when you're not having the success that you want on the field, you got to take some some risks, and you got to take some chances, and you got to be able to evaluate the character and make sure you're getting the right fit kid, right? So, we needed a quarterback in our program. We needed somebody to come in here and lock down the middle of the field. And the best thing the NCAA had done with these new rules was Hunter Keene was able to get another year, and he's been unbelievable, man. He's been a huge piece for our locker room. He's been able to make sure that thing stirs in the right direction. He's mentored guys on a level that goes beyond just what we do with them on the field. I'm so comfortable with him being able to grab the infielders and run the infielders if I'm going to watch a guy in the bullpen, or if we're doing something from a base running standpoint, or we're doing something with X, Y, or Z group. I trust him immensely with so many decisions and pieces of this program, and ask him advice or giving him something that he can go talk to this guy. He's been great. The big dog looked like he blacked out here.
Well,
there you go. What we got?
I have
Oh,
a
you
shade.
got a shade?
Yeah, I have a shade. I didn't have it shut. I'm sitting here like, where's Alex go? So I had to go shut the shade. Yeah. Let's talk about two. Then we'll get into Iona this weekend. But
yeah, please.
You lose a big bat, third base. Yeah. One of my favorite. I mean, and how that gamble paid off last year. But
you know what's amazing? Real quick.
Yeah.
When guys impact you, when you go, man, you don't even say their name, and both sides are going. You talk about the snow. Real quick, you talk about the snow.
Yeah.
James Ward last year.
James Ward
showed up while I was on the field with Coach Montgomery, who, by the way, is now with the Houston Astros. Best of luck to Monty. He's a minor league coach.
Absolutely.
As we're shoveling snow and ice like a bunch of buffoons, here comes Wardy and about 6 or 7 other players. So that's the type of kid. Yes, big bat, huge personality, unbelievable leader. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well, you lose that. But I think, from what I understand, you have a great story. You have an international implant coming in. A kid, I believe, from Korea that led junior college in home runs. Feels like a natural fit at the hot corner. Talk about how that recruitment went, because this is going to be, I think, a great story to follow as well. And it shows you the appeal of your program and Raptor being able to go out and say, hey, come be part of what we're building here.
Yeah, Sonny's done a nice job. It's been a really challenging road for him to just be able to get back over here for school, as far as just the travel piece of it. But yeah, we had a chance to recruit a left-handed hitter last year. And Sonny has done a really nice job over there at third base. He's got the ability to be able to hit to all fields. He's got some power. He's a very mature kid as far as the ability to see the game and evaluate the game. It's been really fun coaching him just because of the language barrier a little bit being different. So it's made us better coaches as far as trying to be able to explain things in a very simplistic, patient, and clear way. But no, Sonny, along with a bunch of guys over there in the infield, it's going to put me in a really difficult position to write the lineup sometimes. He's provided some really good depth for us, and being able to put a guy that's a left-handed hitter in the lineup with our park, especially with certain matchups, man, he's definitely gonna be able to help us. He can also play the outfield a little bit too. So, be able to, one of the things recruiting wise, this is why we've talked about it all the time, like to be able to recruit athletes and recruit guys that can play the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And then put them all over the place. You know, you look at Carrington Aaron as another guy,
Yeah.
a junior college kid, second base, you know, to be able to take Noah Toole and put him in all three spots. You know, Zach Picheski's provided really good depth to be able to play all three spots. Joey Ricoya has been able to play all three spots, or really been playing short and second, you know, in practice. So, you know, these guys have been able to provide some really good depth for us. So, God forbid something happens, we're able to kind of piece and move guys around.
Yeah.
And same thing with the outfield, you know, between Hudge and DP and Brady Powell. Brady Powell is an unbelievable story, but hopefully we can have an opportunity to.
Yeah, we will.
To expand on him at some point. Good.
Well, and that's what I'm looking forward to. And I've already talked to Alex. We're going to use this whole new format as a way to kind of chronicle Radford baseball this year. When Alex is available during the weeks, we're going to have him on. We're going to talk to players and coaches, and we're very excited about that because the program deserves the attention. And he gets underway tomorrow, 2:00, first pitch tomorrow against Iona. So we got baseball here in the NRV tomorrow. So come on out to Williams Field.
Please do. Please do. I think one of the coolest things about playing at home is having the ability to provide the opportunity for everybody that's local here in the NRV to come out and watch us play. It's a great group of players, very talented, but guys that love this community and want to support this community. So we want to play at home as much as possible. And everybody was crazy, or thinking I was crazy, by scheduling these games. And look at Rick. I mean, Rick, it's going to be 64 degrees next week.
That's right. And we're clear.
In February.
The field's clear. That's right.
So when people ask you, why are you playing at home? Man, I can't predict the weather in 2029.
That's right. That's right.
But that's
past.
when we're doing these schedules.
That's right. That's right.
It might be 65. It might be 35.
That's right. That's right.
But sometimes you got to roll dice. In the words of Virginia Tech alum, no risk it, no biscuit, Coach Bruce Arians. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
No risk
I mean,
no biscuit. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Well, we'll be there. And then Saturday we have a doubleheader because Sunday's going to be a washout. But the Iona Gales come in and everybody come out to Williams Field. AG, thanks for jumping on, brother. And I'm looking forward to following you guys this season, man. Thanks for agreeing to be part of this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And once everybody gets to meet all you guys and then the players, I think it's going to be really good. So
yeah, we're going to have a great time with this. This is awesome. I appreciate you giving us a short little segment each week.
Absolutely.
To be able to highlight our program, have some fun, and chat it up with you, man. But I appreciate
we'll have longer segments too. Oh, trust me. We're going to make this.
Whatever you need.
Yeah, we'll do it.
No problem.
We'll do it. All right, brother. Get them ready tomorrow, man. I'm looking forward to getting out there for first pitch.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate you, buddy.
Brother. Take care, man.
Bye.
Thanks, man. Good job. Alex Guerrero. Great job by AG. Looking forward to it. Alex has done a good job. And there's a lot of things we need to talk about. He got a great award we didn't get into, but I don't want to rush through those kind of conversations. So we're going to chronicle the whole season. Tomorrow, if you're around, come out and see us. The weather's going to be nice. The sun's out. Saturday, the weather's going to be nice. The sun's going to be out. So come hang out with us. I'm looking forward to getting out there for first pitch and just seeing it all come together. And those guys work their tails off. Another message on our professional door text line. Sonny Merriman is also on the list of Tech Mount Rushmore. So there we go. Burnett know that we're good to go here in terms of the invite. So, yeah, I had to get up there because I keep forgetting the shade. I got to realize the sun is now coming through. Let me go fix it before Mike jumps on here. But, yeah. So it's my fault. It's my fault for not doing it right. That's good enough. That'll work. So I put up a shade, right? I put up a shade and I don't shut it enough. And then I don't get it shut enough. But you can see it right there, but I'm out of the sun, so that's okay. Mike says he hasn't gotten it yet. Let me send it again. All right. Dwight Vick comes up here in just a little bit as well. Mr. Burn Up. All right. There we go. There we go. That's right. The neighbor's dog, who's known me for about 6-7 years, but the dog doesn't like me. I don't know why. No idea why, but it does not. Joining us now on the program. There he is, 43 years in the booth for Virginia Tech football, calling basketball, right? Mike Burnham. Mike, how are you, man? Good morning.
Good morning, Rick. How about yourself? I'm doing well.
Yeah, and what a man. I'm telling you, I called it a must-win. They played like it last night. Big win for Mike Young's Hokies last night.
Yeah, they kind of had a sense of urgency, and they got after it from the start, put together 2 good halves, and that was really the key to the game, and they kind of got after them. And, you're probably catching Clemson at a good time, right? They came off that West Coast trip, probably had a little jet lag maybe, and they got to play at Duke on Saturday at noon. So maybe they were taking the Hokies a little bit lightly, but the Hokies took it to them, had a nice 7-point lead at the half, shot 50-some%, almost 60%, I think, in the first half, Rick, and came back and followed it up in the second half, played well, only had 3 turnovers in the first half, ended up with 9 in the second. I don't know how they overcame 9 turnovers in the second half, but they played much better defense as Clemson only shot, I think, 38% in the second half. So they got the job done, outscored them in both halves, and won by 10. I mean, that was a surprise a little bit to a lot of people, and a lot of those fans, man, they were bailing out of there. I couldn't believe it. That team is really good, and their fans, they were like, they didn't like that.
We're not hanging around here.
No, football season's around the corner.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Spring ball's about here. That's right. That's right. Mike Burnham joins us on the program thanks to Louise Baker Team, Long and Foster Realtors, 540-320-0382. Well, still not healthy, still no Tyler Johnson, and I think, no matter how this season turns out, that's going to be the story of the year. I know people say, hey, you're making excuses. No, I'm not. I'm looking at it from an honest standpoint. Tech has not had a full complement of its roster, and I think we're seeing signs maybe that they're starting to learn how to play through that, and just in time, because there's still some opportunities, Mike, on this schedule, right, to make that impact. Their work hasn't been completed by far, but they really took a huge step last night. So
they did, Rick. I mean, it was big. I mean, after playing at NC State, who wasn't ranked, and going on the road there and didn't play well, and Ben Hammond was 0 for 9 shooting in that game. Unbelievable. What a great follow-up he had last night, getting 19 points, made 6 big free throws, 4 of them down the stretch. So that was good. But, yeah, 20th ranked team in the country on the road. Hadn't had a road win since Buzz beat NC State 47-24 way back, back in one of those years, 10 years ago. I forget how long ago it was. And so it was good. It was important. And the Hokies made 13 free throws, Rick, and Clemson missed 7.
No.
That was a big part of the game. But it was just good to see them play 2 good halves. We've seen them do that. Like they played terrible in the first half against Louisville. Scored 49 points in the second half. Syracuse, same thing. Good second half, bad first half. And a couple other games were the same way. And it's nice just to put together 2 good halves and play. And kept Amani out of foul trouble. And Bedford was great. He was 4 out of 5 beyond the arc. So, but yes, as you mentioned, there are opportunities. I mean, Hokies still got a tough road to hoe, Rick.
They do.
I mean, Tyler Johnson missed. I think that was his 12th straight game. They haven't had a full roster since we were in the Bahamas because Toby went down to the Bahamas.
Right.
Yeah. And then, Luka Tyler hadn't played since the Elon game on December 20th. He hadn't played in an ACC game yet. And so you still got to go on the road. We got Florida State this weekend. You got Miami on the road next week. You still got to play Carolina on the road, UVA on the road. But the home games, Florida State, Boston College, and Wake Forest, you got a chance to get over that 21 hump. And then try to steal another one on the road. You might put yourself in good position, especially if you were to get 1 or 2 in the tournament.
Yeah, I agree. And with the way the ACC is showing up in the net rankings, I mean, they're going to get a lot of respect on Selection Sunday. So I think last night really saved the season for the time being. And you're right. I think it can come back. And I do. Do we have any time frame on Tyler? Do we know anything?
I mean, he's out there running around. He's practicing. You know, the problem with feet, you know, when you got a foot and you're jumping up and down like they do, it makes it difficult. You don't want to just throw him out there and hope that he's okay. He's been out of the boot for a while. And so, you know, I think he's very, very close. Now, whether he'll play Saturday, I don't know. I think they're being really cautious with trying to bring him back too soon because they don't want to have him re-injured because he plays, you know, he's a physical guy. He guards well. He gets after the glass. And the last thing you want to do is get him hurt more. So, you know, Mike Young only had 9 guys dressed out last night, Rick, and he played all of them, all 9 of them. And those 4 guys came in off the bench, you know, helped those starters get a few minutes of rest here and there. And I think that was a big part of the game too.
Well, and watching it, you can tell Toby's back because he was skying high, man. Anything coming off the rim late that they needed, he was grabbing that basketball. Almost had a double-double last night.
Yeah, 12 and 9. You know, that was his 7th double-double. And, yeah, he was a couple of those alley-oops that were there. He just missed by a hair, you know. And so it was tough. But he does seem to be back. You know, he kind of kept himself out of foul trouble, and you know, he made free throws. He made both 2-point or 3-point shots he took. So yeah, Toby was good last night.
Well, and now they can take that momentum you mentioned into the next game, and to get a split like that, given what was facing them, continue, you know, with the troubles they've had with their health is not bad. So now we'll see. And here, though, now they've played themselves back. Like you said, now they have to take the next step, right? They've got the games at home look very favorable for them. So now you got to go and take care of business. So
yeah, the home games look favorable. The road games look tough, and they're going to be tough. Miami just beat North Carolina after they beat Duke, right?
Right.
And that game was kind of maybe a little bit of a trap. Carolina was probably high off the high as a kite there right after beating Duke.
100%.
Yeah. And then, you know, Miami's good at home, and the Hokies haven't fared well down there very often. And so that's going to be a tough one. And UVA, you know, they're playing great. That win against Florida State coming from way behind like they were, their team seems like of destiny. And then obviously, you know, those home games you got to win for sure. And the other way game, what's the other? Miami, Carolina. Carolina's not going to be easy down in Chapel Hill. Yeah.
Thanks to Louise Baker, Louise Baker Team Long and Foster Realtors, 540-320-0382. Mike, I got to talk to you about, you know, I still call him Mr. Worsham. Wes Worsham passed away. We've been talking about his legacy today. Very few people you've met in the world that are more genuine than he was. And I know you were there through it all. And his story is so great. Andy just came on and talked about it. He wrote about it years ago. And a place he didn't graduate from, but he loved it. Probably more so than many of the people who graduate from it. What a great legacy that he has.
Yeah, he really did. And the field's named after him. And he was a great Hokie. I can see him right now standing on the sideline with those khaki pants with the gobblers on them. I mean, he was out there, had his hat on, rooting and cheering for the Hokies. And every game, after every home game, Rick, he took the whole team out, not the team, the coaching staff, the whole coaching staff out to the old Red Line Inn. Yep. And we used to have parties out there after the game, and it was phenomenal. I mean, they fed them, and they were having a great time, having a few beers, you know, here and there.
Sure, absolutely.
And Wes would always pick up the tab for it. Coach Beamer, I mean, and John Belen, they took care of Wes. I mean, he was on every trip. He was just a fixture on the sidelines, and just a great, great Hokie. I know he'd been in kind of rough health here for the last couple of years because I hadn't seen him. But gosh, every time you talked to him, he had great stories. And, you know, he used to bring him up there in the springtime and he'd take him out fishing on his boat. He was just a heck of a man. And what a great, great Hokie. Sorry he passed. And, you know, I feel bad for his wife. She was a great woman as well.
Always had a smile on his face. I don't think I ever saw him without a smile on his face or hear him laughing.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. I know. He was just he had his box up there. He didn't make it to many games here the last year or two.
Yeah.
But he still had his box up there next to where Coach Beamer's was. And yeah, it's just another one. You know, here we are getting older, everybody is, and you just see these things happen. It's just sad, but he had a heck of a run, that's for sure.
He did. He did. Well, not much to talk about, Mike, football-wise. We're just going to wait now as guys come together and they get acclimated, and we're going to wait for March and get ready to start for spring ball, right? That's what we're at right now. So.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, last week he had a press conference on Wednesday and had the coordinators talk, and that was great. And then he gave them, as soon as they left that press conference, they were off. They'd been on the road recruiting, and they hadn't had a day off since they got here. And so he gave them all the weekend off, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They got back at it on Monday, and that's they're cranking up now, getting ready for their more intense spring workouts. And before spring practice, they'll go on break, come back, and get after it, and try to get a lot of people in there for that spring game on the 18th. That's going to be fun. Just hope the weather holds up. But I told you it wouldn't be long they would have heat in that field house, right? He was just adamant about that. He said, I've never been to a place that didn't have heat in an indoor facility. He said sometimes it's colder in there than it is out.
True. You go in from the cold. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's when you know it's bad, right?
Well, and I appreciate you moving to today. I know yesterday, I mean, it was Coach Rags always holds court, but yesterday he was in rare form, brother. He was in rare form yesterday.
You like the old Greyhound commercials. Remember?
Yeah, I know.
Long Greyhound.
It was so great. He took us inside the playoff games against Hayside. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. But,
did he have Marty on there with him? To back him up?
Marty's just sitting there shaking his head, laughing. You know, it's great. Marty's off to Daytona this weekend. So
yeah, that's right. That's a big race.
big.
I had a friend of mine down there yesterday. Was in New Smyrna Beach, and a Goodyear blimp flew right by them, right by their place, and I guess it was on his way to Daytona because they said they've seen it parked there at the airport and locally because Daytona's just up the road. So I'm sure that's what was happening with that. But that thing is big. People, I don't think, realize how big the Goodyear blimp is.
I don't think I've ever seen it up close. That's true. I'd like to. It'd be cool to see it. Yeah, and then you go, wow, you're just kind of blown away by it.
And I don't think there are that many people in it either.
No, I wouldn't be in it. I don't think I'd be in it, but I'd like to see it.
Come on, you got some hot air.
I do. I got lots of hot air. Maybe they even put me on there as extra fuel just in case.
Hey, we can put Rags up there.
Yeah. Oh my God. We've got
that thing would be in Holland tomorrow.
There's no question about it. No worldwide trip, man. Around the world, 2 days. Yeah.
We love Rags. He's the best.
We do, man. He's a treasure, man. The mind still talks about the exact moments of games. It blows me away. It absolutely blows me away. It does.
Yeah, he's got incredible memory, and he was a smart guy in college, you know. So he was he excelled. Yeah, he excelled in those numbers, no doubt about it.
Well, Mike, get some rest. We always want to thank Louise Baker.
Absolutely.
Baker team,
I bet she was smiling last night during that game.
Oh, she had to be.
Yep, and I look forward to seeing her Saturday over there across the way at the Florida State game, and hearing that Florida Seminole chant. I hope she doesn't get into that now. She's only about 6 rows behind the bench. You know?
If she does, she'll counter it. She'll counter it. No, she'll counter it. She won't put up with that if they're getting close. Yeah. She's feisty.
No way.
Feisty.
Yeah. No question. She's the best.
All right, brother. I'm glad you got back in town, and we will talk next week, and hopefully we'll be talking about more momentum for this Tech basketball team. So,
yep, that sounds good, Rick. You take care. You guys have a good weekend. Where are you guys this weekend?
We're home. Saturday was our off week. In the middle of the week, we didn't have a game, kind of like you guys the week before. Yeah. So we play Saturday at home, Charleston Southern, 2:30.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Okay. Good luck to the Highs and the
Thanks,
Hokies.
brother. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right,
take
Rick.
care, Michael. All right, brother.
Yep.
There you go. Mike Burnett joining us on the program. Great stuff. Appreciate Mike. And I was talking to Mike yesterday, you know, as Rags was going, and I said, hey, man, we're going to have to push it to this time. We may have to wait till this time. And Mike said, well, how about we just do it tomorrow because I'm enjoying this as well. So I appreciate Mike. That was great. What a great show. These are the last 2 days. I mean, I know it's my show, but not because of me, but he's been some absolute bangers today. Dwight Vick's going to join us here. I want to thank Ready Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com, Travis Williams, Professional Door Incorporated, Residential Commercial Garage Doors, 38 years in business, National Bank, member FDIC, our exclusive banking partner here on the show, and also my personal exclusive banking partner. The attorney, Ryan Pride in Radford, BDST Fan Question of the Week, 701 West Main Street in Radford. Oh, we got good material now for the next several weeks, I think, with the Tech Mount Rushmore. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Tim Miller will be on tomorrow. Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. By the way, today is Jen's birthday. Jen, the Gamecock girl. I'm going to make a post on the show Facebook page, which has nearly 4,000 followers. And we need to wish Jen a happy birthday. Yep. Yes, we do. And Mark Hunley, McClellan Chiropractic, thanks to him. And Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios, 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. Good stuff all the way around. So, yeah, it's Jen's birthday today. She will not be on tomorrow. She's traveling. I gave her a hard time. I'm thinking it's because she knows she's going to be out tonight partying too long, and she didn't think she could recover in time for the show. That's my take on her not being able to join us tomorrow. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe probably that's the case. But she'll be back with us next week. The first lady of BDST, Jen, the Gamecock girl, returning. So, yeah, that will be next week. Joining us now on the program is that guy. He is the quintessential source for all things Virginia Tech football and about life fixing. Dwight Vick from Victory Life. What's up, brother? Good morning.
What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning.
Good to have you, man. Good to have you as always. How are you? What you getting ready for the weekend? What you got going on this weekend? You're always working.
What do I have going on this weekend? Yeah, I am working Saturday, and then my son has a game at 4. I watch the stream or the broadcast. And yeah, nothing spectacular. Friday, I'm going to go, if I can, with my schedule, I'm going to check out a high school basketball game. It's, in the VHSL now, everybody's having that district tournament. So check out some basketball, watch some basketball on TV, some college basketball as well. All-Star game is this weekend, right?
I guess. I don't know. I haven't watched the NBA all year.
Yeah, I'm going to check out some I always watch the 3-point shootout. It's always been my favorite event. I'm going to check some. I don't watch everything toe-to-toe. The All-Star game I may have on in the background, seeing the celebrities and all that. Yeah, but nothing extravagant. Just going to be, last weekend I traveled, so this weekend I'm here in Nova.
I thought about you over the weekend because watching the Super Bowl was a terrible game.
Terrible.
You talked about, and I said, here's Dwight again, bringing something up before it becomes something that hits me in my life, and he's right. I'm finding myself less and less a fan of professional sports across the board. And the NFL is now lined up in it, and I'm not going to get into all their choosing of politics and halftime and all that. I think they're working too hard to be part of the vibe to separate us as a country. But the product on the field is bad. Nobody seems to have any kind of you're right. There's something about it. As you get a little older, you start, and my dad went through this, and he was a lifelong Steelers fan, and he loved it more than anybody. I get it now. You're right. There's something about it, isn't it? About the professional sports vibe. It's just not there anymore. At least
yeah, I think when I was at when I got back, we got back, my wife and I, last Saturday at 3 a.m. And then I had to get up I got up at 7:30 a.m. So I got 4 hours of sleep. I did an interview with the head basketball coach, a feature that's coming out here shortly in a few weeks, with Carlos Poindexter of Hayfield High School. And it was great, went over well. And then I came back home, and she was cooking some meatballs and some food because we were invited to our friend's house. One of my best friends from high school was having a Super Bowl get together. We go every year.
Yeah.
And excuse me. I was hesitant and reluctant to go. And she was like, "What's wrong?" I said, "I'm tired." And I said, "Number one, I'm tired. Number two, I don't know anything. I probably watched the Seattle Seahawks a total of 10 minutes last season. In all 18 games or 17 games, or whatever they played, I probably watched them play 10 minutes. I know some of their players from college. I didn't care about the game whatsoever. And then with the Patriots, to me, Brady's the GOAT. I was a huge, and still am, a Brady fan. But I don't know these Patriots. I know May from UNC. I thought he had a good season. I kept hearing the murmurs about how they played the easiest schedule, basically, in NFL history to get to a Super Bowl. But the matchup was dry to me. The game it felt forced. But the bigger picture, I've been saying for years, I don't have a favorite team, and I live my life peacefully. I noticed when I was at the Super Bowl party, a lot of my friends were like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Who do you got in the game?" I said, "I don't care." I mean, they probably thought I was grumpy Smurf, but I'm not grumpy. Everybody knows that. But I was like,
"No, you're not. No,
I don't care. I don't know these teams. This game has no storylines. I think the biggest storyline was Stephon Diggs and Cardi B. I don't know. I mean, whether or not they were really together. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that happened to the contribution of me removing myself from being a lifelong Redskins fan or basketball fan, or I have a lot of MLB hats, but I don't have a favorite baseball team. I think for me, it's more so over the last 12 years, professional sports combined with TMZ and ESPN has been more about relationships, who's hooking up with who,
correct,
fighting, politics, so everything has become manufactured hype. They create narratives, and then you have the shows that support them, where Stephen A, Skip Bayless, and a lot of people are yelling and arguing, more of a barbershop feel than actually breaking down insight into a matchup, and I think that's what sells. I don't hate that guys are getting paid or living out their dream. I know a lot of young men that are about to be pros that are playing college football and basketball. I will glance at it and watch it, but I think for me, when I look at it, it just changed over the last several years. I'm not stuck in the nostalgia. I'm not stuck in my past. I think as I approach 50 years of age, I realized that the energy I give to something has to be worth my time. And that's not just that sports, that's life.
Sure.
Like, I am not about to get on Twitter /X and argue with a fan all day. I mean, I got friends and they're fans. I look every day, all day, they're talking Virginia Tech football. I'm like, man, it's February. Take a break.
Yeah.
I mean, really, what is Franklin going to do? Is it pride? Did he eat cereal this morning? It's just like, what are we talking about? Take a breather. Take a break. College basketball, my favorite sport is basketball. People may not know that. It's always been basketball.
Yeah, you've always said that. Yeah.
I love the fact that Tech got a great win last night. But even with college basketball, I was watching it. Well, I wasn't. I had it on when I was driving back from Charlotte last Saturday. I had the Duke-Carolina game on. I was born at Duke University in the 70s. I've always followed Duke in the ACC back when it was on the Jefferson Pilot and Raycon
Jefferson
network, right?
Pilot, yes, sir.
So that shows you my age, right? And they continuously, as the kids say now, glaze. They continuously glaze the Boozer kid, who is very talented and very good. Him and the freshman from UNC constantly.
Yes.
And my wife was like, "What's wrong?" I guess I was making a face as I was driving. And she said, "What's wrong?" I said, you could tell when they got in the production meeting, they said, we have to make sure we push this narrative. Where when Billy Packer and those guys from back in the day called a game, you left the game more informed and educated about players and matchups and scheme versus now it feels like Hollywood squares. Who can I hype up the most? what narrative can we push the most?
Great point.
Yeah, it's the narrative that's become the story. And you combine that with all these guys. There's a guy that I almost pulled up on virtually. I forgot his name, man. But he was trolling Virginia Tech fans, trolling us about Pry and Franklin, and us saying we were basically pieces of you know what because we were afraid to play JMU. And I'm like, you know what? One of my good friends, Chris, told me not to say nothing to him because he's doing that for clickbait. He wants the engagement, and that's what we are.
Sure,
we have whether it's trolling with the fans or the media narratives that are being pushed. It makes for a distasteful product. Now, that doesn't mean that if people I'm friends with or fans watch the game are stupid or less of a person. No. If that's how you want to spend your weekend or your Tuesday night, that's great. I still watch sports, but to me, one of the most important things I teach my clients and patients, as well as I try to really work myself, is work-life balance. If you give something energy, constantly, you better make sure that energy is going to be reciprocated and you're going to get something out of it. I think the balance that people have doesn't exist as much anymore. We've lost our way. There are shows from XM radio to YouTube channels that are ranking the top ACC quarterbacks in February. I don't know. I don't know how you rank. Most of these guys transferred to the university.
I know.
But then if you look in the comments, how do you have this guy ranked here? He did this at the other school. I told you when you had me on after Franklin's hire, I said Franklin is a winner. He has won everywhere he's gone and been at. However, he hasn't won at Virginia Tech. So we need to see what he does here. I cannot say based on what he did at Penn State that means it's going to be, duplicated here in Blacksburg. Do I think if I had to put some money on it, I think he's going to make Tech a winner again. I have no doubt, but it may look different. It may not be as easy. It may be easier. We don't know. And that's the last point I want to make about it. Part of the instant gratification era we're in now with the portal and all the different things going on with oversaturation of media coverage, all access with Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and all these different things, we've lost the importance of being patient and allowing a story to take place. Remember seeing a story take place. The upset of UNLV when Duke beat them as a 2 seed in a rematch from the previous year. Wait to see somebody hit a home run record when it kind of creeps up and you're watching. Is he going to break it? Now, if the home run record is 70-something home runs, when a guy gets to 15, it's like, he's the greatest baseball player of all time. I'm like, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. We don't know yet. Let's see it happens. That's what happens, Rick. That's why I just kind of watch it. If I choose to, if I don't, I don't.
To your point, opinion is what you're talking about, that people are posting and click. That took the place of journalism and facts. And it became part of just, hey, what do you think? Instead of, well, this is what I think, that's fact. Well, no, it's not. That's your opinion. Like, they're sitting there breaking down the quarter. Duke doesn't even know who the quarterback is because he just lost to Miami. So they're sitting there trying to rank. And that's what's happened with journalism and access media. Opinion and leanings replaced fact. We talk about it a lot here on the show, and I think that's what you're right about. There's no question about it. So.
Yeah, again, I mean, I do broadcasting in high school sports with NSMT, Northern Virginia Sports Media Team.
Yeah.
I do a lot of interviews. I have the Victory Light Pod. I really try to research my guests, even if I'm familiar with them, but I also try to remain unbiased. And I think that's hard for a lot of people now to remain non-biased because it just seems like a majority of us have an agenda. Like I get a lot of hate when I give schools like UVA or other rivals of Virginia Tech or other programs credit, or I will post about one of their players. And they were like, how can you do that? I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, I work in the media, number one. Number two, even if I didn't, I can appreciate greatness. I have never in my life and never will be a Dallas Cowboy fan. However, Michael Irvin, when I was growing up, when I was a youngin', and I watched him play, Michael Irvin, to me, the playmaker, was one of the best wide receivers I've ever seen. His passion and intensity and leadership was infectious, and I loved watching him play. So I can still respect what he did versus be a fan of his team. But I don't create narratives. There's a kid I mentored and I coached when he was young. He played at Penn State. His name is Amari Campbell. He's now playing at Tennessee, transferred. And I looked online, and I'm in a group chat, and some of my guys sent me a link of a fan that was bitter, and he was upset. He ran like one of those parody accounts, but he was just hammering home how Amari had a reckless driving ticket that he didn't handle, and it was continued the court case, and he's got to pay some legal fees and all these different things. And he posted it just to troll Amari. And that's what we've become now. Like, if you think about the change of ESPN, it almost happened simultaneously with MTV, when MTV went from showing videos to showing the real world and the real word versus I forgot the other group, and all these shows, and it became more TV and less about music. Same thing happened with ESPN. But you know why both ESPN and MTV got into the whole TMZ and who's dating who and all the other political situations, all that stuff happened, is because the consumers watching us and listening to us this morning, and the majority of the public, will watch it. If you fool the right people, the rest will fall in line.
Right.
And that's what happened. So if Stephen A is talking about him and Skip Bayless are arguing about Chris Bosh, not his play, but whether or not his sexual orientation fits their narrative. Because, remember, Skip Bayless called him Spice Bosh, right?
That's right.
And I've seen the clip with the champagne and all of that. I know it looks suspect, but again, that's not your job to troll a player. So if you're a fan and you saw the media, the journalists trolling players, fans feel like it's their right to do the same. And that's why sports, college and pro sports, have gotten, as my kids say, messy.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you talk about you get pushback. Well, I got this right after, the regular season in college football. I got this long text message on the text line from somebody who watched the show, Tech fan, just laying into me about how all of a sudden I was a Virginia suck up because I took the time to credit Tony Elliott during his make or break year, right? Bert Pry had the same make or break year. It didn't work out. He got fired. Well, Tony Elliott went to the ACC championship game. And, oh, by the way, they won 11 games. And he was just saying all of a sudden I'm a UVA apologist and I'm anti-tech. And it has nothing to – it's just recognizing what someone did with an opportunity. The last opportunity he had to pull his tenure out at UVA, he did it with the support they had in NIL. And I've kept that text message like, here's someone who's creating something that's not there. And just like you said, when you get pushed back, there's nobody more passionate about Virginia Tech football than you. But you got to recognize facts. And the facts are UVA had a great season. It's okay to say that and still support Virginia Tech.
I think people don't understand. Not all, because we have a lot of great people that listen to this show and watch it.
Oh, sure.
And a lot of people that understand and follow me on Twitter and respect my insight. I think people need to understand, number one, you're right. Like, what I've done for Virginia Tech alone, I'm not saying I need a statue, but the work I've given Tech without getting paid, without getting anything, except, hey, we appreciate you. And I still do it because I love my school, my alma mater.
Sure,
I love my university. But I also believe in being a straight up guy. Like, so, when you talk about another school, I think people that are diehard fans, they view it as you're cheating on your girlfriend. Why did you, funny, Valentine's Day is approaching. Why would you do that? Why would you get them flowers? Why would you, listen, I'm just wishing her a happy birthday. Well, why'd you send her a birthday post? Why'd you give her a virtual cake on Facebook? Because we went to school together. I have no interest in being with her, right? So why would I shout UVA out? Well, number one, I'm a Virginia guy first. I'm from the Commonwealth. Number two, I mean, if you have a great season, you have a great season. I think, again, that's why I feel like when you talk about you lost your way regarding like just being straightforward and just being real, a lot of people don't know how to take authenticity. They don't know how to take someone that's authentic. So I try to be consistently authentic. I try to be, if someone knows me in Radford and they meet someone that knows me from Newport News, they're going to say, yeah, Dwight Vick, that's my guy. He's this, this, and this. You're not going to get a different perspective on me because I'm not going to be anything but authentic.
Correct.
And I think that's what has happened with a lot of this stuff right now. In 2020, I don't have the stat in front of me, but I remember reading this on several publications. In 2020, because a majority of the world was quarantining, that's when you saw the uptick and rise in everybody becoming a podcaster.
Yes.
So everybody went and ordered stuff online, and then you saw all these different podcast groups, and everybody's talking. It's not just with Virginia Tech, although I will say I feel like Virginia Tech has to be top 5, top 10 when it comes to people that podcast about tech. I mean, there are so many different groups out there. I've been on majority of their platforms, and a lot of these guys and women are cool. It's just that I think when it gets carried away is when we have people who are fake insiders and giving fake information. And then they go with a narrative, and then they make it personal. Like the stuff I see on Instagram and Twitter with people calling out players. Like I'll tell you this when it gets really ugly. It wasn't just Penn State with Amari Campbell. It was even Virginia Tech with when a kid transfers that you cheered for when he committed, that you cheered for when he made a play, when he decides to do what's best for his family, then you revert and you start name calling, you dogging him, or he was trash. Or, listen, those kids are doing what's best for them. And what we don't realize, not all of us, but many of us don't realize, some players are told to hit the transfer portal.
That's right.
Some players are told you don't have a future here. Also, some coaches, many coaches, wait for it, everybody, drum roll, many coaches lie.
Yeah, this just in. Right.
They lie to us. They lie to the families. They lie in meetings. They lie on game day because, again, it's tough for many of these guys to be authentic. So, again, man, sports in general is still entertaining, but it's gotten messy. And I think it's also, when I say we lost our way, we are more focused on the entertainment, which is why, even though Indiana was the best team in college football and the college football playoff delivered in some games, ultimately, it's still obvious that ESPN, the SEC, and everybody has an agenda when it comes to how they market and prepare for the playoff game. If you watch a college or pro game right now, and I've done broadcasts, I did the 2013 Virginia Tech spring game for ESPN. I've done ESPN ACC Media Day. So I've been in the rooms and I've been on the station. So if you notice when you call a game, not me, you and I, but when you watch a game now, there are so many promos. It could be, the game could be tied at 17. And they were like, hey, Jim, so what do you think what's going on later tonight with that Michigan and Michigan State game? It's like, why are you talking about that when it's 3rd and 7 and you're talking about what's going to happen next weekend?
I know.
Stop talking about, can you break down? Or we hear about how the quarterback had shrimp fried rice last Saturday that made him sick. Why y'all, do I need to know what he ate?
No.
But that's what I mean. We have gotten oversaturated with just needing to know so much that really doesn't have anything to do with the product.
No. And we just want the game. That's why sadly have to admit it. I mean, I'm a broadcaster, but most games I watch, DV, I mute. I don't want to hear it. I just watch the game. I don't need to hear, or I try to find Roth and Burnip and try to match up the Tech game. That's all I do. I don't want to hear it anymore because of that, just because of that very thing you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think people hear someone like yourself saying that, and they may think, oh man, like, Rick's being cynical or he's stuck in his ways.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we all have our preferences. I look at it as the fact that I'd rather, I look at life, you know what I do. I'm a therapist. I give back. I'm a community activist. I do a lot of great things, right? And I look at it and I tell people I'm friends with, I tell my clients, I tell people in general, you have to protect your peace. You have to get the most out of life, and you have to understand that if something is bothering you or you feel irritated by it, disconnect. So even with me, there's times where I jump on X, aka Twitter, and I look and I see what's going on. I'm like, I'm getting off, because it's not worth my energy and my time. Like being a Vic, a proud member of the Vic family, and having a cousin as polarizing as Michael Vick. When people see someone like Marcus who got in some trouble last weekend, they want to tag me or ask me about it. Listen, everybody has family members or people they're close to that get in trouble. There's a domestic dispute. That doesn't represent what I do. I'm not going to stop loving my cousin Marcus. But when it gets personal and people run and they do these memes and these little narratives about it, I have to protect myself and my family and just disconnect.
Sure.
And it, and that's just the way it is. I mean, right now, we're almost done with this segment, but I guarantee you, if you go online right now and watch Get Up on ESPN with Mike Greeny and them and all those guys, they're talking about a game or, who are the top free agents in the NFL, right? Which is it's fine, right?
Yeah.
But they will go on and on and on. And I remind people all the time, it's really their opinion. Don't get caught up with someone's opinion.
Exactly right.
It's an opinion. If someone said, listen, going back to UVA, not to troll, UVA was picked near the bottom of the ACC in the preseason media day, and they played for an ACC championship. So It's their opinion. I joke with you all the time how, respect to the Hurricanes this season, but the previous 16 seasons, they've been favored to win the national championship and win the conference, and they have not done so.
No.
So people are going to pick who they pick because ultimately, Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit, if you want to be real, they're fans just like us.
That's all they are. And tools of the network. Yep.
Yeah, and they have a narrative to push, man.
I'm with you. And that's why I don't put any stock at all into any star rankings, because it's just opinion. And most of the time it's opinion from people who haven't seen them play or haven't played the game or even know what in the world they're looking at. Sorry. That's fact.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And and it's okay whether I'm on your platform or I'm coming out the bathroom at a stadium or I'm listening or I'm on hold on a sports talk radio show and someone asks me a question, or I ask the host a question. It's okay for us to say, I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What's wrong with that? Exactly. Yeah. That's a great point.
I don't know. When someone says, what's wrong with Virginia Tech? Why they don't? I don't know. Wait a minute. I thought No, I have my thoughts. I have my opinions.
I have my opinion, but I'm not there every day. Right.
Do I have sources? Absolutely. But I'm careful of what I share with certain people because I've seen this happen to me where I share something a source told me that's a reliable source, a credible source. I tell a random person, they run with it, or even a person I thought would keep it close to the vest, and they run with it, and they do a whole show on their podcast about it.
Right.
It's like, Jesus, man, like, can you not let this happen? What happened? Again, we've lost our way with patience, perspective, and respect. We have. Even outside of sports. If I go to Chick-fil-A, which they rarely make a mistake, and I get a 12-count combo, and they short me one chicken nugget at Chick-fil-A, they just can't count. That doesn't mean they're racist. But again, I mean, we're recording everything. We're so angry. That's why, again, man, people say, Vic, you always smiling. You always, posting funny videos on Instagram. We got to laugh more, man. We got to love more. We got to also be patient. We also got to keep it in perspective that as much as I miss competition, as much as I love sports, it's okay to not know. It's okay to just be in the moment, watch the game, and go on about your way.
That's right.
One last point, and this is from the Bronx Tale, when Sonny told the kid, that the Yankees didn't care anything about him. They lose and they win, and it doesn't matter. He said they never looked at baseball the same. Well, in my first NFL game, my second ever NFL game was when one of my best friends, Derek Smith, he was my roommate at college and my teammate. He played for the Commanders. Then they were the Redskins. And he got me tickets on my birthday. My birthday is September 14th. So always in the heart of football season, right? And I went to a Cowboy Redskins game back when Darryl Green and Aikman and all those guys were playing. Rocket Ismail. Cowboys were down 35-14 to the Redskins. Cowboys came back and won, I believe, in overtime or whatever. On the way out, my wife and I, my sister-in-law, were walking to our car. And I'm just like, hey, this was a great time. I had a great time. I wanted the Redskins to win, but I was like, hey, this was fun. I'm not lying to you and your listeners, Rick. There were at least 12 to 14 fights and arrests because the fans were fighting.
Yeah.
And I got in my car. I'm a thinker and I'm a processor. My wife was like, what are you thinking about? I said, I would never fight over another grown man. I'm not fighting anybody over a team. And what killed me is people don't realize, because my friend was on the team, one of my best friends, Derek Smith, he was injured that year. A lot of those guys that play in NFL, the moment the game's over, they go hang out.
That's right. That's right. They forget about it. Yep.
They're not rivals like you think. You got more rivalry than on Twitter than you do the games now. Like
100%.
Brent Pry and Tony Elliott are very good friends.
Right, they are. They are close.
They're close. So this whole y'all can hate all you want. You got to go to work tomorrow. These guys are making millions and millions of dollars.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. While you try to figure out how you're going to keep YouTube TV on. So anyway.
Well, speaking of movies, I'm doing an extra show. It's called Big Dog Pop, and I want you to be part of the first one whenever I do. It's going to be later on when we're done.
Okay.
With, But I want to get you on because you're a movie guru, so I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I hope I can grow it as kind of into a fun, just pop culture. We're not going to.
Listen, man. Again,
yeah,
that's
we're going to have fun
what I'm talking about. We can talk. I think again, like it's okay to talk about something else. Like not talking about you and your show. This is a sports talk show.
Yeah,
I'm saying it's okay to talk about. Hey, man, if you ever seen this movie, this scene right here, whatever. Like,
correct. Yes.
Yeah. I think movies have always been my part of my healthy life balance and escape. Like, and I'm a guy. I'm one of those guys that can watch a movie and like place myself in certain scenes and wonder how I would handle it. I do that.
Me too.
I'm weird like that. I'll go to the movies by myself, man. I'll go in there and get, a Coke Zero or something, and I'll sit in there, man, and I'll watch a movie, and I'm like, man, I love theater and cinema. I love, especially when a movie's well written, like those all-time classics like Usual Suspects. At the end when Kaiser Sose and not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or Unusual Suspects. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's a great movie. That's a great movie.
Yeah. But anyway, man, let me know when you're ready to rock on that one. Man.
I will. We'll have a lot of fun with that. We can have people on and have a great time with it. So
yeah.
And it won't be any controversy. It'll just be fun. We'll just be talking about the fun stuff. So it'll be great.
That means we're going to get the right audience, because if you don't make it fun and you don't make it controversial, because some people like controversy.
Correct.
You'll get the right people to tune in.
That's right. That's right. But I'll keep you posted on that. So
I appreciate you. Yep.
All right, brother. Great stuff as always, man. Have a great weekend.
You too. Enjoy your Thursday.
All right, you too, man. Be good.
Yes,
there
sir.
you go. There you go, Dwight Vick. Imagine somebody coming at Dwight Vick and trying to accuse him of not being a Tech fan. But I did. I got this long, why are you on there talking about UVA? Well, they're in first. Look, I had an opportunity years ago when Dave left to go be the voice of the Bucks. I interviewed for their radio gig. After careful consideration, I realized that wasn't the place for me for various reasons. So not like I'm Mr. Who, but if Virginia Tech turns it around next year, and they very well could under James Franklin, I'm sure somebody out of market is talking about what a great year they had, and wow, what a great hire that ended up being. And, are they going to get accused of, why are you shilling for Virginia Tech? Well, they finished first. They were 3-9 and they won 11 games. Don't you think that deserves some flowers? But anyway, all right, great stuff today. What great back-to-back shows. Thanks to you, the audience, our great sponsors. We'll be back tomorrow. Tim Miller's going to join us from Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Mike Ashley, no Jen tomorrow. But again, take the time, stop by our Facebook, wish her a happy birthday, send her a note, and she'll be back with us next week. I believe next week is the saxophone performance. I think her saxophone mouthpiece is coming in or did come in yesterday. I think that's what she told me. Thanks, everybody. Great stuff. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel as we try to motor our way to 1,000, and we'll wrap up the week tomorrow on the Finally Friday edition. Thanks to David Smith here today, Andy Bitter, Alex Square, Radford Baseball. Thanks to Mike Burnett, Dwight Vick. Wow, that's 5. Yesterday we had 5 outstanding guests. You're not getting that anywhere else, folks. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.